So poison in me. You were lucky to know me. I let you be the missing piece to my heart, and I should have known that your love is poison to me. You were lucky to know me. I let you be the missing piece to my heart, and I should have known that your love is poison to me.
Well, that was awkward. What's up, everyone? What's going on, everyone that's decided to join us? We have NR Legend. He'll be joining us soon. We've got a special guest, Milky from the Property Flex project, as you guys know. So these guys are running late. Of course, I'm always on time, and they're always, giving me crap because I'm always late. But anyways, I hope everyone's doing okay. There's a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. A lot of stuff to talk about, right? And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of stuff going on in the community, and I'm talking about crypto as a whole. And we can even take it down to the local level. What's going on in our community, right? Our beloved community, right? We got a lot of people involved in many projects. A lot of things going on. And I've been out of pocket for a couple of weeks now. Just kind of catching up on some family time. As you guys know, most of you know, my dad's not he's not at the best in the best of health right now, so I've been taking care of him. But while I've been out and about off chain, there's been some things that have been going on that I absolutely want to talk about. I definitely have some opinions, some comments, some thoughts about that. But I'll wait till the fellas get back before before I get into that stuff. But other than that, everybody, welcome. It's actually July 3rd on 2023. Tomorrow's the 4th. If you're from the United States, tomorrow's the 4th of July. And that's what it's all about right there. Things get to go boom. We get to pop some fireworks. Most importantly, we get to celebrate time with family, friends, and just kind of celebrate our independence. But most importantly, just celebrate being alive. You know, it's a great time to be alive. I think in this day and age. Why? Because we now have cryptocurrencies, right? We all know what that's like. I'm sure we can all relate to that. But hey, thanks, Paul. I appreciate that. He's praying for my dad. Thanks, man. And I've gotten a lot of messages from everybody. Wishing my dad well. You're praying for him, and I appreciate that. I really do. I tell my dad, I haven't lived with him since I was 20. That's when I moved out and started my life. He raised me obviously since I was since I was a baby. And but now I get to tell him that now it's my turn to take care of you. And I tell you, and that's what it's all about. That's really what it's all about: taking care of family, friends. And I would say this, with everything going on in the world, when things start happening off chain, and you all know what I'm talking about. We're all human. We all share in this human experience. things happen that kind of put priorities into perspective, and you realize what's really important. I was on Chris Cruz's live last night. He allowed me to come on and talk a little bit because he doesn't really let me talk that much, and I left you guys with the quote, and it says, "We all have two lives, and we realize we all have two lives to live. We realize we only have one." Actually, let me just rephrase that. It's basically saying this: we all have two lives, and we realize we only have one when we realize we have two. In other words, what I'm saying, guys, is we get so busy with just everything but what's important. And don't get me wrong, I love being here online with everybody. I love crypto. I love technology. I love doing what I do for a living. I just love being busy. I love just having my finger on the pulse of everything. Anything technology. But man, life has a way of just like stopping you in your tracks, man, and making you just kind of pause for a moment and appreciate the blessings that you have. And tonight is a blessing for me. I get to spend my time with you guys. We have some people watching. You guys can be doing anything else with anyone else right now, but you guys are with me, and we're waiting on NR Legend. That's why everybody's here. Probably even Chris Cruz. Actually, Chris Cruz I'm sure he's in the chats. He's in the background. He is on vacation. The guy's been going live every day. I thought Prado went live a lot, but Chris Cruz goes live a whole lot more. And so when you get up there in age, you can only stay up so long. So he asked for a break. We decided to give him a break. So he's enjoying some time right now. He's probably got a little some hot tea or something. I'm just joking, Chris. But no, he's doing some things with the family. I know he's listening, and I'm sure he'll be in the comments. But but nonetheless, guys. So I'm gonna go through some of the comments. And I'm going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, because, at the end of the day, NR and Crypto Terry is going to be joining us soon. I haven't seen that guy in a while. I missed that guy. And I'm going to wait for Milky to jump in, but we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about until those guys show up, because what we really want to talk about, which is why we got Milky coming online and up there is we're going to be talking about none other than a Property Flex. And with that being said, let me go ahead and bring the Winston Churchill to the stage.
I love it. Not even 5 seconds in, and I get abused straight away.
Now, that's a compliment, man. That's a compliment. You know how I feel about Winston, bro. You know how I feel about Winston, man.
I know. It's good. Anyway, yeah, it's good to be back on a live with you, mate.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's certainly been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've been taking care of priorities and stuff, and it just goes to show that times like this, when family are involved and stuff, and you get all the high school drama in the back end from like the crypto world, it just goes to show what's really important, right, in life. So I'm glad you've taken time out and you've getting that your dad sorted. So
I appreciate that. Yeah. I think if the universe has a way of just kind of correcting things, right? And when we decide to get in the way of life has a way of kind of correcting course for us. But being off chain for a bit and then coming in to seeing all the stuff happening, you say the high school drama or whatever. I'm actually coming in because I'm not in the thick of it. I'm not in the middle of it. I'm coming in on the outside. I feel like I'm on the outside looking in, and it's quite interesting what's happening. But I still don't lose focus. We still have an agenda. We still have a plan with what we're doing, and our resolve is strong, as I'd like to say. And if anything, it just helps us to kind of look at what we got going on, our plan, what our agenda is, and what Property Flex is going to be. And I love it even more because I think it's unshakable. We have a solid plan. We have a solid plan.
Yeah, I think part of that is because right from the very outset, we said what we wanted our 10-year goal to be. Yes. And our 10-year goal is in bite-sized chunks of 2, 5, 8, and 10 years. It doesn't matter what's happening in the here and now, in the couple of weeks or couple of months up to chains launching or delays or BNB taking a bit of a dive, or our goals are pretty. You'll know from our chats that we have. I keep saying laser focus, because it's not about what's going on in the community at the minute. It's about building the community into what we want it to be. And and our company and our project being at the forefront of that, if like one of the very best. Obviously, everyone has their opinions, and if they're doing a project themselves, they want theirs to be the best. But what I'm saying is, we don't have. We just want to make sure that we are laser focused, kind of dismiss or try not to get entangled in the things that are going on. Obviously, take stock of them because they're important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
take notice of them, which we can talk about in a bit. But for us, it's building those foundations, getting it right, building it as strong as possible, and then moving forward in the correct way. And like I said, just laser focus.
Yeah, and laser focus is where it's at, and I come back down to the and well said. Okay, and I appreciate that. You always speak for us. There's I don't think there's ever anything. I know I always give you crap, but I don't think there's anything you've ever said. I'm talking about when we in terms of and we were joking with yours is one thing, but we're talking about the project and the plan. You actually put pen to paper on paper on purpose. I mean, you absolutely. I'm just, and I said this to you the other day. I think it was this morning or yesterday that I marveled at the way you think because, I talk about pivoting all the time. Pivot, pivot. I've been saying that for about that's my way of life. Pivot because life comes at you hard, man, and it is no respecter of men. Good and bad things happen to all, no matter your bank account size or how good of a person you think you are. There is nothing new under the sun, right? But what I love about your whole business approach is, you see this thing, like you said, the 2 to 5 to 2 to 4, 8, 10, the 10-year plan. It's like this. It's just when you say that, and we talked about the plan of action and what we're going to be doing here soon. The way I see it is all the drama and all the things that are happening in the community today and tomorrow and I would say next week, next month is but a speck of dust on the windshield of life is how I like to look at it.
Absolutely.
It's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's if you was to go back now and you look in the rearview mirror and you look at things that were going on in your life when you were starting up your businesses, like maybe 10 years ago or whatever it is, and yeah, or more, because I know you're very old and stuff. So the
we're the same age. We're good.
But if you think about the things that maybe have kept you up at night or sleepless nights and you was worrying about them at the time, and then you look back on them and think, actually, there was no need for me to be so worried about that. Or there was no need for me to act or get involved as I did. I should have just left it and it would have just passed me by. But I decided to get involved and I caused myself no end of sleepless nights. And we've all been there. We've all been through pandemics when we thought our businesses were failing and things like that. And you look back on it now and you just think, I don't know why I was so worried because I should have just focused on the big picture and take bite-sized chunks out of that. So
Yeah. You're right. We worry about things that we shouldn't have. Time. We as human beings, we want to work. Why do we work so hard? Because we think we've got to. The thought is, and what we're kind of told is, I guess what the narrative is taught to us at a very young age is that you've got to go earn a lot of wealth, a lot of money, so that way you can have more time to do things you love to do. Right. And time is the one thing that human beings want more of.
Yeah.
Oh, I want more. I want to make more money so I can have more time. But time is the one thing that we want most of. Is the biggest thing we waste the most of. We waste more time about wishing we had more time. And I think once you get to a point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that light bulb goes off, everything changes. The paradigm shift. Your eyes see different. Everything changes. Your focus, and that comes back down to the laser beam focus that you talk about. And I like when you say that because that's exactly how I operate. Once I focus, sometimes to my disadvantages, I think it could be to my disadvantage, or it could work against me in most cases because you get focused sometimes and you kind of forget. I just got to knock out this one thing, but I missed the other things I should have addressed. But at the end of the day, I love putting it to paper, coming up with a plan. I love talking about something like we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I love how we've been talking about things we're going to do and we're knocking them out, checking off the boxes. To me, that is the biggest high to me. I love that most, executing on what we talk about. An idea is just a dream until it's on paper, and on purpose. Right. And this was a dream you had and now it's happening, and you got guys that I know we're a team, obviously, we're all in this together. But but yeah, we're all going at the same speed in the same direction, and it's so empowering when you've got a community behind you. We thank you guys for supporting Property Flex. You know, we're humbled by it, right? I mean, it's like wow, we get a lot of good feedback from the community. You know, there's thousands of projects out there that are coming at you guys from every which way and Sunday, but you guys still come to us and say, hey, we're looking forward to Property Flex. That's empowering. That's actually encouraging us. And then most importantly, or just as important, I get to talk to you guys and I'm like, we don't even skip a beat, man. It's just like, because when you're by yourself and you're working on a project or you're working on a business, it's a lonely world out there when you feel like you're the only guy doing it, right? You're like,
Yeah.
it's all on your shoulders, but it's actually really cool to know that I'm not alone in this. Not just because I have you and our Crypto Legend, and then, but most importantly, we have the community. Remember, guys, I say this all the time. They need us more than we need them, and that goes for us too. And we as a team launching a project, trust me. When we're working on, at least me specifically, I'm sure I'm not speaking for the other guys, but I would assume they agree with me. But whenever I'm jumping into this project with these guys, I'm first and foremost thinking of you guys. And you hear teams talk about, oh, I'm thinking about the community. I'm putting myself in your shoes. In fact, that's why I love Property Flex, because it's not a get rich quick. It's actually got some stability to it. And it could go 10 years, like easily go 10 years, like easily, you know what I mean? And while you got these Peppy coins popping off and, you make a little cash. Well, what are you going to do with the cash? You want to put it in something sustainable. You got to put it in dirt. And we're going to be scooping it up, hey, get you some dirt. God's not making any more of it. And so we're going to try and do what we can to get everybody involved. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I think what recent events have shown people in our small community. Let's not talk about the crypto community in general. Let's talk about the let's just say 3,000 active people that are knocking around in our various discords and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Recent events have shown us that things happen, things can change and don't go the way you want them to, and that happens, right? It's crypto. I mean, there is no kind of governance over it at the minute. So what our vision was for the investors to say, you know what, I'm happy to do my DeFi. I'm happy to have a little ping on Pepe or what's one that I'm looking at the minute. Wall Street memes or something like that. I'm waiting to launch. Yeah, something. I've got a little bit of cash in that, but I'm just waiting for those, and I'm happy to kind of almost gamble. But I want more projects like Property Flex to come along and say, I'm happy to put X amount of dollars there, and I know that that'll be secure, and that X amount of dollars will be more in 2, 3, 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I will play around in this DeFi space. But I think what we are doing, and others hopefully follow and do whatever they decide to do, are able to do long-term sustainable project growth based on real-world assets, whatever that may be. So I think we just give people I think people are tired. They're exhausted over the last 14, 15, 16 months or whatever it is since we all kind of came together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the feedback that we've had is people just want less bullshit.
Less bullshit.
And that's it.
Yep.
And
I'll tell you what's not bullshit is Prado says he's going to buy $1 million worth of Property Flex. I believe him. I mean, I believe. Thanks, Prado. I appreciate that, man. He and I have had some great conversations, just off chain, with some of the things going on, and he was one of the first to know about what was going on with my dad, and so I know everybody they see us fighting all the time online, but and he and I completely disagree on everything. But I'll say this, always he does want what's best for those that have been supporting him and following him this whole year. He loves his community. If you guys don't know that, if you remember how hard he fought when he got banned from YouTube, I mean, the guy, he got his channel back. That shit just don't happen. Okay. As quick as it did. I mean, at the end of the day, he believes in I think in the community, the people that watch him every day, and he wants to do right by them. So, Prado, I appreciate that, man. As always, that you could put it anywhere else. Worldwide Token takes off, man, well, I'm gonna hold you to that, bro. As well as my my fridge you're supposed to be sending me, with the Vulcan money, man. Hey, I ain't forgot about that. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that where I'm excited from some of the projects that I've seen now, I am getting more and more excited because what they've done is they've us included, they've come with an idea, and then over the past few months, things have happened. If you think, and they've had to kind of change and pivot, as you say, and the projects that are coming out from those initial rough tumble kind of starts are now becoming a more refined project and a lot of them are based upon redistribution of profits from blockchains, which I think is the correct way to go. You got Worldwide Token, which is doing it on a massive scale. You've got Gods of Gaming, which I'm excited about with some of their NFTs. It's got some power in the comments.
Same here. What's up, Fowler?
Yeah, and it's just those kind of picking into the profits and then distributing it back to like NFT holders or token holders. And well, to be honest, without being biased, it looks like NFTs are the way to go because even Dan's Worldwide project, you need an NFT to claim it, right? So
yeah. He's taking, I think Daniel's taken, like you said, it's been a rough year and a half, in the crypto market, with all the memes out there and just all the things that have happened with multiple projects. Like you said, I like how you frame this. They've had rough starts, right? Kind of a rough and tumble start, and they've been refined over time. But it's actually, you see they're going the NFT route, right? But yeah, with the Worldwide Token, he's got big plans for this, big expectations. And I would say this, he's definitely, he sees a vision. And one thing about the guy, man, love him or hate him, the guy's not going away. A guy, and that's why I love to hate DP because he ain't going away, but you know what I'm talking about. But I don't hate you, bro. but I like what he's doing with. I like how he's trying to he's trying to come out with this the sweet sauce and whatever in his project, right? Yeah. Like we have our niche with real world assets title, real estate, right? And I like how you framed it earlier too, that you're making all this money, whatever, you're in DeFi or whatever. Maybe you made some gains with Ethereum or Bitcoin or even Worldwide Token or whatever project you're in. Money is finite. It's constantly moving. It's either going into your pocket or going to someone else's. What I love about real estate is it stays in your pocket. It's going to stay there, and it's unshakable, to some degree, obviously. And obviously there's still market conditions, and all that, whatever, but there's still, it's more, I would say with all the, with the market conditions, I mean, real estate is everyone's go-to, that's where it is. Acquire more dirt, right? As I like to say. And I like that we're bringing dirt to blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, if you just think about it, the majority of the world's, let's just say, new wealth. I'm not talking about rappers or people on blockchains and stuff. I'm talking about like maybe from the Victorian kind of revolution, the Industrial Revolution. Those people who made their money, the first place they put it was into property. I mean, you look at all. I mean, I'm talking from my experience in the UK. The UK's richest, like the top billionaires or something in this country, and they're all massively invested in like family offices that put their money into property. They own vast amounts of property all over the place, and I think that if we can make, obviously that's ridiculous amounts of wealth, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars, but if we can bring that down to make it an achievable entry level to the normal person, that's progress, and that gives people something that they can hope and say, I understand that there might be fluctuations in the market. 2008, right? Lehman Brothers and all that kind of stuff, and everything to pot. But what happened? It had a ripple, and now we're higher than 2008 levels. I know it's taken a while, but there is a property cycle around about 18 years normally.
Is it? I was thinking 14, but I think that's oil and gas, or that's 7 or 8 years. But okay, so it's about 18 years for the cycle of real estate.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's always some idiot that gets into power or does something stupid that will either speed it up or delay it, but it's approximately every 18 years. So you'll see these ripples and you'll see these fluctuations, but the best thing about it is there's nobody there to pull a rug from underneath you. It's still standing. You can say, right, we've taken a hit. We can't offer you $200,000 of profit. It's going to be $50,000 of profit. However, it's still profit. And
it's still profit, right? And unless the property gets wiped off the face of the earth, and the whole market, the entire market contracts are deleted. My point is that you're right. It's still profit. Not like buying stock. If I buy, a Tesla or whatever, and it goes to zero, or just, for example,
that's the exact kind of analogy I was going to give then, because let's just say that there is a fluctuation in the property market and it does take a massive dive, and you think, you know what, I'm underwater on this one. I'm actually not going to make my money back if I have to sell. So you just hold it, you pivot, you rent it out, you do something, you hold on to the asset, and then in time it'll recover. Whereas if you're, again, I'm trying not to pick any certain projects. Let's think of like Titano, right? Because nobody's going to be hurt by that. But if you look at Titano, if you hold on to that asset and it's decreasing, it only ever decreases. I mean, people get nervous, they sell it, it goes down and down and down and down. There's no recovery at all. And that's what's different in the property market. There will be a baseline where it just says, here we go, and we'll go up again. And big, massive companies all invest in it and buy lots of property, and the property market goes up again. So
so kind of walk me through, let's say we've had some community members reach out to us with some pretty good ideas. And actually, I remember when it was mentioned, you mentioned it in our private chat, and then you're like, hey, that's actually, we don't have to get into specifics in that particular project, but just, I liked how you were like, those are the types of things that we can do pretty quickly and show the community real returns, right? And it's almost, it's a win-win. So we got those types of projects, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But if you can walk me through a project where it's a I don't know, maybe it's a commercial property or whatever. We buy it for X amount of dollars, and now we're in it for maybe it's going to be developed into a shopping center, whatever. Maybe there's going to be leases paid. What does it look like when, as holders, right? We're like, oh, we got this property now. All the tenants are in. We're making some money off the rent. The rewards are being paid out. What happens when a buyer comes in? And so let's say we paid $1 million for the project for the property, and it's spread out between, I don't know, 1,000 holders or whatever, whoever got involved. How does it look for those guys whenever we sell that thing? And if we bought it for $1 million, what are we looking to sell it for? Give me just arbitrary numbers, but you've got some real world experience in this, right? So what type of profit margin are you looking at, and what does it look like? How long does it take to close on something like that? And what would it look like to the investors? Good. I hope I didn't get too into the weeds, but No,
you just asked 75 questions in one.
Well, let's start with number one. Let's start with the first part, right?
So obviously with Property Flex, we've said that there's two elements of it. There's a development, there's a build element of it, which is, it's a purpose development project, i.e. we're building from brand new, from dirt, or we're taking over an existing property that's derelict and we're going to make it better or change its use, like office space into residential condos, that kind of thing. That's the first one. Let's take away that one for now, because that's easy to understand. The second one, the commercial unit, let's just say there is, because we want to give NFT holders immediate returns. So we would look at a building, we would identify a building. Let's just say, I'm trying to think like a brand that everybody will understand. For argument's sake, just think like a Walmart. Right, so a Walmart own Asda in the UK. Let's say we buy a building, and their Walmart are in there for a 15 or a 20-year lease. Right, a blue chip company, they're in there. So we buy that building, we rent it out, and we buy it for cash. Right, I'm just giving examples because obviously Walmart are massive, so I'm probably not the best. But if we buy that for cash, we then own it, and we've got 100% of the rental income. Right, so that rental income then is, if you think about the light paper, 60% of that profit, because it's all profit at that point, because there's no real overheads. 60% of that is given back to NFT holders. So if you've got that NFT with that attribute assigned to that project, you get it. 30% is then put back into the pot, and then 10% goes into the treasury for running businesses and employing staff and things like that.
Okay.
So if you've got $10,000 per month coming in, $6,000 goes back to NFT holders. $3,000 goes every month goes into the pot to increase the pot without NFTs being sold, and 10% and whatever it is, $1,000 goes back into the treasury to run the business. At that point, then we will look at it and we will look to get institutional finance, i.e., mortgages, something like that. Again, I'm trying to make sure I'm bilingual in all this and make sure it at least makes sense. We raise the institutional finance, we put a mortgage against that property. So let's just say the mortgage is $5,000. So the profit is now $5,000, which is obviously halved. Mm-hmm. So your rewards are coming back at half. But of that 75% loan to value, 75% of that comes back into the pot so that we can go and buy another one. And we retain 25% equity as well. So again, if we had to sell that, we'd get 25% of that back. But the main focus is on building that pot to go and get more and more and more. So that's what it looks like.
Okay, so the goal for us is to stack. We want to stack projects.
We want it twofold. We want to own as many assets as possible. That'll be on the rental side and hold them within the company, because the more we hold, the more rewards for NFT holders. And then the second side of it is we want to be using funds to go and buy dirt, build, sell at a profit. And we because we're not involved in banks, we would be looking around about making, depending on the situation, obviously ballpark figures, 30% to 40% profit on those funds. That's what we'd be looking at, because when you're dealing with banks, obviously you've got to take into effect like all the upfront fees, the cost of borrowing, the intro, the exit fees, all that kind of stuff. So without the banks being there, your margins are far higher as well.
Okay. So ideally, we want to kind of eliminate the banks if we can, which is possible if we've got enough. We raise enough cash, right? I mean, there's
a difference in it. There's good debt and bad debt.
Yeah.
And so if we can buy cash and get preferential purchases and prices, and then we can put it onto good debt, i.e. retain the unit, put in a good tenant and everything, and hold it within the company. We've got 25% equity. We've got 75% of our cash back, and we just grow and grow and grow. And obviously, the more and more we do this, the more people are getting the returns. I'm assuming that current investors will want to put more in, and I think we'll attract new investors. Obviously, as part of my war cry that I made on Saturday in our private chat, I gave us a target for what I want our community to be, as in the numbers. And we've got another way of marketing that. We're going to in a real world kind of way, not just crypto, but obviously I've got quite a decent sized LinkedIn profile like following, and we're going to start trying to get those newbie crypto investors in there as well. So I think we can quite easily hit those targets.
I think we can as well. Whichever chain we launch from, or multiple, and we're going multi-chain either way. Our goal is to absolutely hit multiple communities, and that's going to be with the help of everybody listening to this live, and those that get to hear this later. Everyone should be able to benefit from this. Everyone's going to have. Our price hasn't changed. I believe it's still $100 NFT. Is that what we're talking about? Is that what it is? Right.
Yeah.
So the barrier to entry is there's no barrier. I know at least half of you spent $100 this week on Taco Bell or Whataburger. At least I'm just joking. No, but So the barrier to entry, and let me level the expectations here. You put $100, you get $100 NFT. It's not going to make you a millionaire. Okay. This isn't that type of project.
Of course.
But what this is going to do is this should do, in my opinion, this is what it does. It gets you, if you've never been involved in real estate and actually seen how it actually pays out, this is your way in without you having to throw $100,000 into this thing. And what happens is once you realize, okay, I threw $100 at this thing, I got in one project, and then you see we're starting to stack all these projects, all these properties, and you start getting involved in let's say you only get one NFT per project, and we're 50 projects deep, okay, in months. Right, that's the goal, right? and now you just got multiple streams of income, from different projects coming in. But I would say by the time you throw in that third NFT or second one, you've already got the bug. Now you're looking for, now you got this revenue coming in. Now you're going to want to get a little bit deeper, a little bit. You're going to want to buy more NFTs, get deeper into a different project. Maybe we got another project we're going to go into. You start seeing the opportunity here. And if you got other projects, like say Worldwide Token, for instance, and it's making you some cash, you can go, cash out, buy you a Porsche, whatever you want to buy, or you want to put it somewhere. Hopefully you put it with Property Flex, and you let that money work. At the end of the day, you make that money work for you. That's what it's all about. And that's what the truly wealthy do. Their money works for them at the end of the day. And this is one of the ways you can do that. This is how I see it.
Yeah, and obviously our projections that we've put forward, we think that people, when they buy an NFT, whenever that may be, if they're in, so Live Freedom is unlimited mint. There will never be a limit. There will only be a time where we pause it to swap out attribute levels, but I can talk about that more another time, or you'll read it.
Yeah. What's up, Rich?
Yeah, it's what was I saying before that?
Oh.
I've interrupted myself there.
Oh, so I was just talking about the multiple streams of income and you catching the bug.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so that's it. So whenever I'm not saying there's pressure to buy on day one, because there really isn't. They can sit there and they can wait a year and see what we're doing and then decide to get in. But our projections, if the rewards work as they should across multiple chains now as well, because we've pretty much figured that out as well, is they'll be cash neutral within 4 months. So anything after 4 months for the next 18, 20, 50 years, whatever Property Flex is around for, it will just be profit on profit. You will be cash neutral. So I'm going to be putting a lot of money into it. That's for sure. Well, as much as I can afford, really.
Yeah,
so.
same here. Right, same here. I've got some. You guys, I have just a little bit of Bitcoin. I don't have. I'm not a Bitcoin daddy like Chris Cruz is. But I've got, I've been saving for such a time as this, looking for that project that I wanted to. Oh, snaps. Speaking of dads, what's up, brother? What's up, Chris? I appreciate you joining us, man. I can't hear you. You're muted. Check your, you got the new mic there. So check your settings. Yeah, he got him a new mic. He sounded great yesterday. He's trying to get his mic working. Let's try it again.
It reminds me of when I was trying to teach my grandma to use an iPad for the first time.
I didn't call you grandma. He did. I'm just saying right now. Yeah, I can't hear your mic. You may want to restart. You may want to take a nap. I'm just joking. I'll let him work on that. I can't hear you, bud. Triple Moon Goddess says, example like the 17-bedroom place Hawaii, can Airbnb be the rooms? I think you kind of highlighted on some of the Airbnb types things and stuff, right?
But like I said to Triple Moon, it's like I shared that with the team straight away after our conversation the other day, and we're gonna have to put, because we've been offered. There's a few things been offered to us now, so we've got to take stock. We've got to make sure that we do. It's not about rushing into a project. It's making sure that we've got the right project, because you only get one chance to make a first impression. And I believe that the first one that we do is going to be not necessarily the most profitable, but it will be a really solid, secure one that we can rely on.
It will absolutely be proof of concept at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It's going to show it works, and because we believe it's going to work. And then that's just going to, like you said, it's all about, being in real estate, no pun intended, but it's all about curb appeal. If we can show our first project, it may not be grand, but it's definitely a solid. It's all about reputation, because the goal is, if you're one of the first to get into our project, it means you believe what we're saying, but remember, belief is the enemy of knowing. And I say this all the time. Don't believe me. I don't want you to just get into because you believe me. I want to be able to show you that it's real. And that's why we're looking for that project that's going to knock it out of the park. So that way you now know it's real. And then you're going to, and it's going to be moving forward. You're going to get into every other property we stack, because it's real. It's really going to happen. And my goal is to obviously get in every project. We stack on the books. because I want multiple streams of income from multiple different sources. I want to be able to say, so like, hey, so what do you do? I'm in blockchain and I'm in real estate. Obviously I'm an IT guy, and I've been saying that for years, but it's boring as hell. No one's impressed anymore. No one's been impressed since 2010, so whatever. But but real estate for me, blockchain is the last frontier for me,
Yeah.
and real estate is a ship I will be boarding to fly through that frontier in a sense. So, and I'm not a Star Trek fan, guys, but I would say that real estate is my enterprise. This is what's going to get me from to the point I want to get, and that's just how I see it. And I think blockchain, real estate, crypto, real estate, this to me, it's a perfect union, and so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm happy, especially with some of the developments that are coming now, because as everyone I've said, in fact, Sky High, he asked a few questions in our Discord, and rather than me sitting there typing it, I just said, let's jump on a call, and we had a half an hour conversation. And fingers crossed, I put his mind at rest a little bit, because he was a bit concerned. He had some concerns about the kind of direction that we potentially could go, or we said that we were going, but I talked to him in detail, let him know a little bit more
Good.
about some of the stuff that we got planned, without obviously telling him everything, because we can't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I'll say one thing about Sky is he's made some money in crypto. He's also lost some money, but I think he's made more. I think he actually was one of the guys that bought property with some of his earnings from, I think, Safeco or something. So and I've had some pretty good conversations with him as well, and he's straight up, man. He'll go straight for the jugular, which is what we need. We don't need what we don't want, guys. Those of you in the community, yes, this is our project, and you guys need to just follow suit. No, I mean, it's been developed. It is what it is because we first set up a focus group, and we reached out to some of, and I would say, if the brightest, most influential, the finger on the pulse of the communities in crypto and our community. When we first remember, Milky, when we set this up, you were like, let's create a focus group. We had some great information come in, and from that, then you had the light paper out soon after. So at the end of the day, we're listening to the community, because you remember, we need you more than you need us, right? The type of thing, right? And so we want to make sure we do it once. Yeah. And who else to tell us but those that actually want to invest? Because he's told me, he goes, hey man, he even told me and my brother want to get into this thing. Yeah. So I appreciate that, Sky, a whole lot, man. But I want to make sure that if you're going to bring family along, or you're going to be in, I want to do right by you guys, and it's, of course, we're working on the back office stuff. We will be fully doxed here, soon enough. We're working on the development of our new website. We've been talking about that. That's going to be coming soon. You're going to see Milky in a tux. You're going to see, you're going to see our not joking, but we're going to be fully doxed on our website. Full transparency. You're going to be able to know who we are, why we are, and where we're going, and hopefully you guys join us for the ride. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I mean, a lot of it's difficult. There is a balancing act between when you're challenged, or when people give you suggestions. You can either look at it and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, I know everything that's going on in the back, and therefore I'm not going to take your opinion, or whatever it may be. Or you can say, well, maybe they've thought about this in a different way. Or I can remember I made an announcement, one of the partnership programs that we initially started up, and somebody came in, I can't remember who it was, and they said, why don't you do it this way? And it took me about 15 minutes, and I was like, I got my head around it, and I was like, absolutely, you're completely correct. And we changed it because of it. There's nothing wrong with being challenged, because if you're, what's the best way to put it? If you're not up your own arse, and you can take a little bit of criticism, then you will have a better project and a better product at the end of it, because people want to help.
I say it less abrasively or less intrusively, and that's how you guys in the UK are. You don't care. I say it more diplomatically, and I say, if you're the smartest guy in the room, you need to find a different room. And that's what I love about the team that we have, because we all come to this table going, obviously you and Crypto Legend, you guys are the real estate guys. This is what you've been putting food on your table for years. You're actually, mentoring other real estate people in your industry. You know what you're talking about, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I've never not once heard you like lay the hammer down and say, "Look, this is how it is because of who I am." You're so open to, and in fact, you encourage dialogue, you encourage questions, and I appreciate that because that tells me that you don't have it all figured out, right? And if because you know what I mean, which is good, and that's respectfully, of course, but that's
Yeah.
but it's telling me that you're an open book. You're always learning, and that just if you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is a new frontier for us. We're talking about real estate, being connected with blockchain technology. So, it's going to be a learning curve, obviously, but I hope that what we bring sets a standard. And if you're copying us, and as Prado would say, if you're being copied, then that means you're doing something right. So there it is.
Absolutely, and I think one of my favorite. I know you love a quote, don't you, Kryptonian? But one of my favorite ones is the fact that I've never learned anything from somebody who agreed with me. It's only the people who kind of challenge you or disagree with you that you actually learn from. And obviously my military background as well is the fact that some of the best leaders or people I've served under have been those who have been open to challenge. And it's a lot of different kind of environment in the military where you wear the rank, therefore you're in charge, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're better than anybody else. So it's like I said, some of the best people I've served under are quite willing to forget the rank and say, what are your suggestions? And that's something that I'm keen to take on board, because we do not have it all figured out. We are constantly learning, and there might be somebody who just says something that gives you that little bit of a spark and think, oh, actually, that is a better way of doing it. And I believe that if you've got the humility to deal with that suggestion, then your product will be better because of it. And better product, the further you'll go, and that's all you want.
Yeah, that's all we want. We don't want this to be a flash in the pan. We're looking long term, guys. Bitcoin is what, 10 years old, 11, 12 years old, 14, whatever. What is it? 2009, I think, is when it's from kind of the inception of it, and where it is now. But point being is, and it's still here. And some would say that Bitcoin is archaic compared to all the DeFi and all the new stuff that's out there, right? It's like old school. It's slow. It takes too long to process transactions. The network's slow and all these things. It's not scalable, and so that's why you have these altcoins. That's where Ethereum's here, Ethereum and Cardano and all these things. But the point I'm making in that regard is, it has set a standard that it's basically the foundation that everyone's trying to build off. And I'm just talking about just the idea of Bitcoin in general. And I'm hoping that Property Flex can do the same thing. I know there are other, and we've come across them, Milky. There are other projects out there that are, real estate, crypto, but we are doing something uniquely different, because our approach is unique and different. We're not necessarily trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just marketing in a different way, and making it a little faster, I think. You can still get where you need to go from A to B with a wheel, but if you can add some sort of catalyst to it to make it a faster trip, or I would say a more enjoyable trip from A to Z, and that's what we're trying to do. And that's why we're excited about the rebasing blockchains and those types of things.
Yep.
Just the concept of being able to, while you're waiting on the build out, filling the tenants, and getting that first rent check, right, and paying out, the NFT holders, the blockchain itself is actually showing some rewards. There's a lot of cool things happening between A to Z, and that's what excites me most about the options that we have, with the chains that we're looking at.
Yeah, and I think it's important to let people know that, again, one of Sky High's major concerns was the fact that we were potentially just married to one direction and one blockchain, and that's definitely not the case.
No.
In fact,
not at all.
Just for the people who are watching, we pretty much finished. It's not finished by any sense, but we put our phase 1, or our version 1 of the second light paper out today it's not published, but it's within the team for
that'll be going to Medium pretty soon, by the way. So
yeah. So it's ever evolving, it's ever growing, and again, What's he-
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Just that he's
Okay.
sawing wood in the background. Just
Did you
Sorry,
get
man.
it though? Was it worth it? Did you get it, Terry? Did you get it out? Whatever that was.
That was my cup
Oh.
of ice.
Oh, sound like you were blowing something out of
Yeah.
something.
Sorry, yeah,
I
no.
think- I think what the as long as the goal it remains the goal, the journey will take different routes. But that's why I've said you've always got to have a big picture and you've got to have a big goal, and you just adapt as the road changes on the way, and that's what we're doing at the minute. And we're just making sure that we don't only have one road, and we don't, because if there's a blockage, if there is a blockage in that road, and we've got to sit there for years or months or try and reverse engineer what we've done, that's not fun. So we're making sure that we are set up properly. That's pretty much what I said to Sky High in our chat. But I have seen that there was a comment earlier. I did want to get back to it from Jacko13. What did he say? He said something about if there was a property available now. I forget. I can't highlight them, but
Let me go find that real quick. Jacko.
yeah. So he sent it at 2:40 or 2:14 my time, whatever that was, about 13 minutes ago.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it here.
He basically, yeah, there you go. So the long and short of it is the legalities of the company, because remember, this is a property company that holds crypto, not a crypto company that does property. It's different. Is we are going through the incorporation in the Cayman Islands at the minute. We're going through those legal processes. Even if there was a property that was $15, that was going to be one of the deals of the century, Property Flex at this moment in time would not be able to buy it because we haven't got the legal setup in order to legally buy that project. So while that's going along, and while the blockchains are being released, it's all being tied into. We're hoping that these things all, in a perfect world, will simultaneously all kind of open up at once. The company will be completely formed with all the legalities behind it. It's not as simple as just chucking a company out there, because obviously we've got 2 Americans, 1 Briton, 1 Canadian in there as well. So there is legal things that we have to go over. But yeah, at this moment in time, Property Flex is not legally allowed to buy anything. There is no company sat there at this moment in time until that incorporation is completed, which shouldn't be too long, 10 days, something like that.
It's happening.
Yeah.
But like anything else, I mean, we the paperwork is being submitted, and we're just in a holding pattern, as it gets kicked off and sent out. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but even at that, once we're ready to buy, and then it's buying the right one, right?
Yeah.
And so it trust me, we want it just as bad as you guys do. I promise you that. We want it really bad.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the first one.
Yeah, but like the reason why we're kind of, as I said in the Discord, it would be so easy. Happy with that, Sky Eye. That you're more than welcome. I'm glad that it made sense to you, because I do get a bit monotonous and boring, and I was boring myself. So thanks for listening.
But go ahead.
But I think one of the things that, as you said earlier, Kryptonian, was there is no kind of formula for this. There is no tick sheet for this, because we are pretty much doing something new. Yes, there's property companies out there using blockchains to varying degrees of success. Some have been really successful and others haven't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's our ability to sit on various blockchains and generate rewards. That's the big thing, because investors in crypto are investors in crypto for a reason. It's because they don't want to sit there for 5 years and get 8% per annum. They just don't. Otherwise, they'd go and do it in property now. You can go and get a crowdfunding platform and do that in the real world, but they don't want to. They and we are impatient, and they want better returns, because that's what's available to them in the crypto space. So we've figured out how to do it. We've figured out how to do it on various blockchains in different ways, which is obviously why we got different light papers. And those rewards will be coming back to the investors. And I think that when we're able to kind of release how we're doing that and on which chains we're talking about, I think people will be very, very happy that we've taken our time and made sure that this is done properly, because again, a couple of months in a journey that's going to take 20 years is not something that I am majorly concerned about right now.
Yep. I agree. We got a direct question from Jaco here. Is it Jaco? Jaco? How am I saying this?
I'm going to call him Jacko 13. That's the way. Is there a ballpark time? So let's just say we incorporate and we get the league. Let's talk about timelines. We are currently looking for our first project. We're not just sat around with our thumbs up our ass doing nothing at all. We are looking for those projects. The difficulty is looking for a project, but then realizing how much we've got, because we don't know realistically how much we're going to raise on that first raise.
And this goes to OBZ's question. Right?
Yeah, I'll deal with Jacko's first. But we don't know how much we're going to raise, but we are actively looking for those projects. We're getting offered a lot of projects as well. You know that, and it's. I would say that if the raise goes really well, we get the levels we want to get to. Let's just say we're aiming for $1 million for the first raise, which is easily achievable. Then we're talking about a month to get our company up and running and legally supported. Again, we can be on paper ready, but are we realistically ready to go and instruct solicitors and lawyers to go and buy it? Then it'll take about 2 months. We're talking about three months from now if we get if we find a project tomorrow. I would say it's probably the best way. And I don't. He's just left me now, and I have no idea. I can't select any of the questions. I can. Right, hang on. Let's do this one. Yeah. So it depends, because if the answer to this one is if we've got $450,000 or $500,000 in the bank, we have to take into consideration what kind of project that's going to be. It's going to be a commercial unit that we're looking to rent out. If so, there's going to be less overhead, as in less additional costs. So we'd probably be looking at buying one for $350, 10, 15 on legals. I'm just ballparking it now, and having some money left over in the bank just in case for any additional costs. If we're talking about a development that's coming through, then we'd have to think about the funds that are available to use to build it. So there we would be looking at a small-ish flip where we would buy it for, let's say, 300,000, spend 70 on it, and flip it for 500 and make 130 grand profit or whatever it may be. So that's the kind of ballpark we'd be in. It all depends on that launch, and it all depends on how much we can raise. So hope that makes sense. Crypto, he just left me on my own. Where is he? I don't know. Can I select it? Triple Moon.
Yeah, I had a call come in. I was trying to read your mind and see which ones you were clicking on. Sorry about that.
I was just like flying a plane and the pilot disappeared, and I was like, "Where am I going?"
Oh, you're doing great, man. You're doing great. We didn't crash. So, what other comment? Was there another comment you wanted to respond to?
No, not really. No.
But yeah, but I did hear what you were saying though. They were talking about. At least it was OBZ's question. Even Jaco was talking about it. Would this be similar to crowdfunding? And in essence, it would be. I think, right? I mean, our goal is that what you were saying, that it's all based on how many NFTs we can sell and raise, right? We got Crypto Tura here. Give me a second. There you go.
Yeah.
What's
so
up?
It's pretty much
Yes.
it's identical more or less to, well, if you look on our light paper, there is a section in there that actually compares it to traditional crowdfunding, and that, yeah, I would recommend just quickly going to propertyflex.io, reading the light paper, and there'll be a section on, I think it says PropertyFlex versus traditional crowdfunding or something, and there's just a tick thing where it ticks and crosses and what you do get from the traditional crowdfunding route. in the UK at least, the cost of entry for that is normally around about 5,000 UK pounds for a decent crowdfunding website.
And there's a chart I can actually pull it up here. But
Okay,
there's a chart there about the crowdfunding and you did a great job at laying it out. Give me a moment, and I'll pull it up. But yeah, because you kind of like, oh, it's like crowdfunding, but you'll see why it's different and why it's better than the crowdfunding regarding the rewards and how it would pay out, I think. And then your chart's going to explain this. But let me go ahead and pull it up while you want to kind of elaborate on that. There we go.
Terry, it's what time is it? It's at 2:30 in the morning, and I've got an excuse for having bad hair. What's your excuse?
I was in the pool.
And,
for like,
and you're a hairy guy, bro. What the hell's going on, man?
I was in the pool. I got
Yeah,
back.
I'm-
Yeah, I was in the pool.
There we go. Flex.
Thanks, Sky. I appreciate that.
Are you bringing that up now?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I'm just making sure I got
Okay.
the right one. There it is. All right, let me share this real quick. There it is.
Cool. Yeah. So the immediate thing that I can see is I've left a space between property and flex, where in the most recent one I've actually tied them together. So that's frustrated me. But as you can see on the traditional crowdfunding, you're looking at getting $5,000 in to start on a decent crowdfunding platform, because the bigger ones don't accept small amounts like $1,000. They just don't, because it's not worth their time. And then you get your first payment normally within 12 to 24 months. So you sink $5,000 in and you get nothing for 24 months. And let's just say 12. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It won't be 12 just because of the way the world is at the minute. And you just got to sit there and wait. And then if you're lucky, you'll get 6 to 8% if the development performs as it should. You don't normally get access to the team. Some crowdfunding properties you do, depending on how open the team wants to be. And again, you don't get to see any of the transparency regard the contracts and things like that normally. I'm doing in general terms. You will always find one crowdfunding property that tries to do a USP and will say we do this slightly different to everyone else, but in essence they're all the same. They don't have a war chest that protects them against anything, but they do obviously have a safety net, which is a big thing for us. So this is that merging of a real world and crypto world assets. Obviously they're in the real world, they have those things to sell. But as you can see on the left hand side,
Yep, right here with actual property flex. Yeah, we got $100 investment. You should within the first week receive some sort of ROI on that $100 investment, and that's going to be coming not from the property itself, but from the actual. Let's say it's a blockchain that's offering rebasing or those types of things. There's going to be some sort of rewards going back to the NFT holder. So within the first week, right, Milky?
Yeah, that's the aim. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. That's what we're trying to build on the various different blockchains as well to do that.
Yep, of course, right? And we've got a lot of options here. And then, of course, the anticipated annual return is 70 to 100%, which is that beats 6 to 8, any day, right?
Yeah, like I said, projections are that you'll have all your money back within 4 months if the blockchain related rewards do as we think they will. So then after that, after 4 months, more or less, you are just in profit for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And the NFT is yours to do with what you will. You can sell it on the open market. Is that correct? Yeah. You can gift it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can sell it. Like I said, you can just keep it and collect the rewards, not only through the blockchain rewards, if it's through a blockchain sort of rebasing or whichever chain we go with, or if it's through the actual ROI. So let's say we do get in the project and you get into this NFT and it does pay out 18 months, 12 months. Let's say 14 months. Well, now you got 2 rewards coming in. You got the rents being paid to you, plus you still have the weekly rewards or whatever it is to claim. It's a win-win. You're getting multiple streams off of one NFT, which is amazing to me. Regular payouts. You get access to the team, of course. We go live now. We'll absolutely. You're going to be seeing a lot more of us, of course. We got Discord, we've got YouTube. We'll be fully doxed. You're going to know who we are, where we are, and why we are. The spending transparency. Kind of elaborate on that, Milky. What does that mean? Because that word gets thrown around.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to be in the most transparent project ever. The most transparent administration. So in your world, when you talk about real estate investments, what does that mean, and what can it mean if there's full transparency?
Yeah, so if you was to go, I'm going to use crowdfunding, but only because it's been brought up and I can use it as an example to go against. If I was to put $5,000 or $10,000 into a crowdfunding property, they will say our budget for this build is going to be $500,000 and we will be finished in 18 months. And of that, then you say, okay, fair enough, that's it. And that's all you really know. You don't get like a breakdown, a granular breakdown on everything that's in there. Where the blockchain becomes obviously forward thinking and futuristic and new technology is we can actually upload all those contracts onto the blockchain and people can read them. So let's just say we've got a contract for $500,000 and we're building a property, and you can even break it down to the payment terms. So you will see that your contractor will have payments every, they call valuations in this country. So you'll go around and they'll say, right, we think we've spent $40,000 this month, and so there'll be a 28-day valuation and you'll have 7 days to pay it. Those terms will be broken down in the contract. So because people love to monitor these things, right? They really do, and that's fine. But people, when they see $40,000 get taken out of the wallet and moved on into fiat, and then obviously moved into the real world, they can look at it and they can cross tie it and say, oh, actually, yes, on the 1st of March there was a payment for $40,000 for new windows or new whatever it may be, or concrete blocks, and that makes sense. And they can totally tie one to one because they'll have complete accurate timings.
So it's on paper, on purpose. They can see everything. There is no, where did this 20 grand go? It went to, like you said, windows or whatever.
Yeah, contract is there.
Yeah, it's there, and it's unshakable. That's full transparency. Now you know exactly where your money's going and what to expect from that. It's amazing, we've got, of course, potential of the coin increase. So whatever blockchain, let's say it's Vulcan, for instance, and that blockchain, yep. Vulcan goes to the moon that we never landed on, as I like to talk about, but it gets high enough, low Earth orbit. I mean, your rewards, increase. Yes, we're still waiting on the 14-month, 18-month for your return for let's say rents to be paid, but your rewards actually increase. So you have the potential of that, that's a no-brainer right there as well. We all know what that's like whenever you're getting some rebasing, or if you're in a Bitcoin or an Ethereum, you buy it or BNB, you buy it at 250 BNB and now it's 320. You understand what I'm talking about. You can do with what you want with that. And that's just it. And your rewards aren't stakes. You're not holding on. They're dumping into they're being dropped in your wallet. You can do with whatever you want with them. You can buy more NFTs. You can get into other projects, worldwide token, or whatever we want to get into. You can do whatever you want. It's your money, right? And the great news is you can cash all your rewards out, but you still have that NFT making you money, in a sense. It's kind of like a little mini node, if you will. It's constantly just paying you money, right? And then we've got the project updates, and that's kind of what you were talking about, Milky. If there's anything major, like I'm having a house built now, and the builder, I'm part of I get access to the web portal, and I'm seeing foundation laid. I'm seeing pictures of that. I'm seeing plumbing. I'm seeing all these things step by step. And is that where we're going to be looking? We're going to be seeing stuff just like
absolutely. There will be a part of the Discord that will be available, and we've also said between the team and us, there will be YouTube videos that have been put out, but holders will only have access to, there'll be private YouTube videos, just because we're aware that of the thousands of people that are going to be in our community. Not everybody wants to be in Discord because it's not it's something purely for crypto people, right? Really, or gamers. So there'll be those videos that we take from sites, and will be uploaded, and people can have a look at them. And there'll be walkarounds, there'll be educational parts of it. There'll be, let's just say, because in all projects something always goes wrong with the build, and it always takes slightly longer and costs slightly more. Well, when those things happen, we will be able to have a detailed video on exactly what has happened, why it happened, and we can identify why that won't happen in the next one. And it's about learning those lessons together and educating people as well, because I would love people to get involved in Property Flex, and then let's just say they've got their own money somewhere else, and they want to take this. They've now got a little bit of confidence from watching our videos and watching us go through a few projects, to taking the plunge and doing it themselves. I would love that. I would really would love that.
Yeah, same here. I mean, and it's like I think that's the ultimate. I think the ultimate. I would say compliment. You know what I mean? We people get involved in Property Flex, and they begin to really change their life. Getting involved, as you're saying, they get to do things that they wouldn't have been to do otherwise. I mean, yes, there's other projects out there, obviously, but we really want to not just create passive income. And I just saw that. I had it up there a second ago from Wise Choice Money, because I can't wait. This is going to be the best passive income long-term play ever. We hope it's the best, but we definitely know it's going to be passive long-term, passive income long-term. If it's the best, great. But and I made this comment a couple of lives ago. Yes, I love for the ocean. I love waves, right? I love what we're always looking for. Massive. I think we was talking about whales, and we want all this volume to come in and just massive gains. But what I've learned in the last year and a half is I don't want the gigantic tidal waves anymore. Someone always gets hurt. Boats always sink, right? I'm tired of that. I want steady. I just want a constant flow of just waves. I want it real nice and steady, but I want it to be consistent. And I think this is what we're bringing to the community: consistency, reliability, real world assets. And you have the opportunity to benefit from both sides, both blockchain, whichever chain we're on, and of course the real world asset that's tied to it. So talk about the competitions and giveaways. How do you see that, Milky? Give me some ideas, or what do you see with, let's say we're a couple of projects deep, blockchain's doing good, we've closed on a couple of deals, people are happy. I mean, where does the giveaways and the competition, where does that come from? Who's paying for that?
Yeah, so I wanted it to be kind of not. How do I say it? It's the competitions and giveaways are going to be based upon something that grows the company. Everything is always for a reason. Everything is always to make the company bigger, and therefore reward the holders, and everybody gets a bigger bag, as it was. So when I say competitions and giveaways, don't think about it as, oh, if you turn up on a Friday, we'll spin a wheel, you get a NFT. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be more, you're going to have to work a little bit for it. So one of the things that I've said is, if one of the community members comes up with something like an idea, or they suggest something to us that we think is a really good idea, and we incorporate it into our business and it becomes part of our business core structure, then those suggestions and everything will then, we want to thank people. So we'll say, well, here you go, here's some NFTs and stuff as a thank you, and obviously they can do with them what they want, if they want to sell them, or they want to kind of if they want to keep them for their own passive play. So there will be things like that. There will be some competitions that are based on growing the community as well, but not like as what we've seen in Discord. They're not going to be Discord based as in like a Zeely thing, where you go out and tweet and do something like that. It's going to be more like, if you can show that you've got, it's almost, again, I'm just thinking on the fly now, but if you can show that you've brought 10 investors and 10 people have brought NFTs, then you will get almost like a referral kind of thing. It's like you'll get some NFTs as well as a thank you because you've grown our community. That's the kind of thing, but you don't get that in any traditional property projects. That doesn't happen. So
It doesn't happen. Yeah. It's like, hey, welcome to the club. Thanks for buying.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomorrow. Yeah. That's
Hope
it.
you enjoy your 6%.
Yeah. Hope you enjoy your 6%. Yeah. In 18 to 24 months. We'll see you then. Don't call us, we'll call you, right? And then we've got the war chest, right? I'm just going down the chart here. And we've talked about the war chest multiple times, but we still get questions about it. And speaking of old beat up chests,
Chris,
aged war chests, men
Those
of
must
the
be
world.
free.
What's up, Chris? Chris,
Can-
I know you're a busy man, brother, and happy 4th to you as always. Thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sound great, man. You sound great. We
All right.
actually, the funny thing is, we actually heard you the first time, but you took off. I didn't get a chance. I'm just joking. We couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Well, without your help or anything else, my son-in-law came in and they, in between us, taking a few shots, drinking a little bit. Bam.
Oh,
Fixed
okay. All right, that's what it was. Okay. Well, I was drinking too, but okay.
Yeah. But I was asking you for the help, man. Didn't you see me backstage? Go, what?
But I couldn't hear you. I can hear you.
No, it's good.
Oh yeah. So, Milky War Chest. Give us a 10-second synopsis on that stuff.
10 seconds. So how long have you known me now for? 10 seconds won't cut it. I was supposed to be here for 30 minutes and I've been here for an hour.
I'm never gonna let you leave early, man. You know that. You
Yeah.
cannot sleep around me, brother.
So the war chest is built around the fact that we know that the crypto market fluctuates, and that's from things that we have no control over at all. It could be somebody doing a tweet, it could be somebody put in office, it could be anything, and the crypto market can fluctuate for the good and for the bad. Obviously, we think we're going to go into a bull run soon, but we're thinking 20 years down the line. So as we go through a bull run, there's obviously going to be a bear market as well on the back of that. It's going to happen again. So what the war chest is, it's a way of, if we've got funds and we identify a project, let's just say we've got $1 million in the bank and there's a project there for to purchase. We've said that we will take 30% of the funds available and we will lock them into a war chest, which means that we're putting them, almost taking them off the token for whatever chain we're on, and we're putting them into stables, USDT, that kind of stuff. And that then will guard against any fluctuation, because what we don't want is, we don't want to have something for $1 million. We've got something, let's just say we've got $1 million VUL in the bank, or $1 million worth of VUL, in the bank, and then VUL takes a 10% dip because of something's happened, because it always does, right? It goes up and goes down. What we don't want to do then is, having got almost to the point of buying it, not be able to afford it because there's been a fluctuation in the price, and now we haven't got $1 million anymore. Now we've got $840,000. So that's what the war chest is there. It's to protect against volatility, so we can still carry on moving forward. And again, if it's a development where we've got money in the bank that we're slowly releasing in order to do a development, i.e. make these payment terms, a portion of that will be locked into stables as well, purely just so there's no fluctuation. And we can, one of the worst things as a developer is when the development grinds to a halt because you haven't got the money to pay the contractor, and then restarting that project is twice as expensive because everything's changed, the contractors moved, loads of additional costs. So that's what the war chest is for. 10 seconds. There you go.
And that was good. That was actually perfect. And I'm glad you took the time to explain that, because it's super important, right? I mean, you did it very well. And every time you explain it, I get a deeper understanding, even though I know what it's for. But you always manage to explain it in a way that's relative to those that haven't heard it for the first time. And Triple Moon says keep flipping into stables. Yeah, stables is where it's at. We've already seen in the last projects in the last year and a half, across the market. I mean, Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. I'm sorry, Chris, but our baby Bitcoin, not baby Bitcoin, but Bitcoin, our baby. It drops. People sell. And I like what you're saying, that we're protecting the project. If it's $1 million and we keep it in whatever token, let's say it's BNB or VOL, whatever it is, Prism, whatever it is, and then markets, people sell, the coin drops. It's good to know that we want to keep the project moving forward, and that's the war chest. And then you've got the safety net. And then the last but not least is my favorite part of all things, is the educational. But talk about the safety net.
So the safety net is basically to guard against a cataclysmic effect, or something happens where the crypto market shuts down, or a chain that we're on has been infiltrated and the blockchain has completely been destroyed. Who knows, right? We're just trying to make sure that we hope they don't happen, but it might do. So what it is this. Let's just say, for argument's sake, we've bought a project for $1 million. That project has intrinsic value. It has real world value. So let's say in the process of us buying it and starting the development or whatever it may be, or owning it, and we're generating revenue, what we want to do is we've got the ability then to sell a real world asset if we choose to, and give that money back to the investors. So if you get in on day 1, day 2, or day 40, whatever it is, before the first project, and you've got all your money back anyway, us selling a real world asset and giving it back to you is purely profit for you anyway. So, but what it does do is it gives the security for, if something does happen in crypto in the future, it's not like it's a rug pull. It's not like it's what's some of the things that have just disappeared recently. I forget, people have lost millions, and FTX and all that kind of the crazy stuff, right? Then it's not all doom and gloom. We could say, right, listen, a chain that we were on has been infiltrated, it's dead, something's happened, but hold on, because what we'll do is we'll sell the real world asset. It might take 3, 6, 9 months or whatever it might do. We will pull that over, we will put it into stable coins, and we will transfer, and we will split it up into the people who have the ability to obviously get those rewards, and we will just transfer it back to you. And that's, I think,
so you actually, in essence, hopefully you get your full investment back. So if I put $10,000 worth of NFTs into a couple of projects, one project, and the inevitable hacker or whatever, just whatever, like you said, not inevitable, they hopefully not the inevitable, but the unfortunate hacking of whatever chain we're on tanks everything. We sell the real world asset. I may have put 10K, but we bought the property for $1 million. We sold it for 900 based on market conditions, whatever. Yep. I'm going to at least get some of my money back, so I'm getting something back. And I'm going to be able to watch that transaction. You're not just going to be able to take our word for it. We're going to show you, look, here's a property. Here's all the contracts that have been available to you the whole time. Anyways, you're going to see it closed again. It gets sold. You're going to see it all on, off chain, back on ramp, and you're going to see it distributed between all the holders. At the end of the day, I'm going to get my money back. And it's not something that we did as a project. It's just the chain, which is, that's like, an act of God in a sense, where it just, bam, it had just out of everyone's control. Right. And I love the safety net. Yeah. I think what other project is doing that? Imagine if a project right now, not even Property Flex, but any project on any chain right now had a safety net. Yeah. Good God. Can you imagine just the positivity out of that, in that community? Like, man, they're going to be talking about, this is the best project ever, and God forbid they ever have to pull that card, but they knowing that it's there. I love the fact that we're doing that. That's one of my favorite things. Right. So, and I hope people can understand what this really means, is that we're really wanting to protect not only the project, but the people as well, because we need you more than you need us. And this is our way of telling you and showing you that. Right. Yeah.
I think one of the important things is obviously the safety net is there, because how many times we've all been in them, right? We have, like, where they just, even recently, where projects and everything have just said, oh, sorry, the funds have gone, the contract's run out, it's been drained, you've not seen it, and then there is no recourse for that. You just say, well, that's crypto for you, and you just,
I should have took profit, what I mean? I should have sold, or and you're right, Bilky. And unfortunately, some people hold because, one, they're waiting for the moon, which inevitably is not going to happen. I'm sorry. Not everybody can go to the moon because we've never been, but not everybody can moon. Okay. So it's not about getting the 100 gain or the 100x, 10x, it's Chris would tell you, it's not, those are nice, but if you're actively paying attention, you can still get your 10x if you do it strategically, incrementally, you'll get your 2x if you do it. If you're smart about it. But in the event that doesn't happen, what I love about this whole thing is we're really wanting to protect, like I said, the community here. With I think the safety net is just amazing. How it's this again, people. This isn't a get rich quick scheme or anything like this. Isn't, hey, we're going to do 100x, 1000x on Property Flex. No, you're not going to get 1000x. But imagine if you had one NFT over 1,000 properties.
Yeah. I like
1,000x. I mean, it's just, if you do the math, compound interest. Oh, and all these projects are 2 to 12. I mean, like you said earlier, we get into a commercial property. You said Walmart, whatever, but it's a 10-year lease. So, Milky. So when commercial properties go into contracts, what is the term? What is it? What is a typical term? And
honestly, that's like saying how long's a piece of string, because it depends on the property type, who the kind of tenants could be, because obviously you've got like bigger projects that could be. I mean, if you think about the biggest of the biggest, like Amazon warehouses, that kind of, the people who build warehouses at the minute for storage and stuff like that, they're making a killing because Amazon are going in there and saying we've got unlimited funds and we'll be here for the next 20 years. It's crazy.
And R and I we're heavily looking into some storage facilities. I mean, here in the state, so we hope to be bringing that to Property Flex is some of the projects we're looking into. And I know we talked about that, Milky, but here in the States, I'm sure you got some options out there, and then Crypto Legend in Canada. But we already know that, if you guys, I actually have a storage, unit that I use when I sold my house. I got stuff in storage. I've been there years, and I'm just one of probably 1,000 units. It's just cash flow, man. It's just like, God, what was I thinking? But that's what we're talking about. We're looking for the properties that just are a no-brainer. They are generating cash flow for those that get involved in this thing. And it's not just one project, guys. So if another way to look at it is, we're not going to give you one token, okay, or one NFT. We're bringing you, hopefully, I would like to say thousands of NFTs, but at least 100, okay, 10 in 10 months. I mean, or 10 in I like to say 10 weeks. If we get enough volume, right, to get enough people excited about it, we can absolutely, well, you would be so busy though, go out and close out 10 deals. But imagine 10 NFTs that are massively, or 10 projects, actually, I'm not NFTs, but 10 projects that are just generating 10 passive incomes for you, individually on an individual basis. You own all of them. You can do with whatever you want. Not only the return on those assets, but each of those NFTs are generating their own rewards.
Exactly.
I mean, do the math, guys. And this isn't Prodonomics. We don't go there. We don't do calculators and stuff. I'll let him do that. But you can understand math is math. And 1 + 1 is actually 2. At the end of the day, and things add up. And then last but not least, all right, the educational opportunities, earn and learn. This is my favorite part.
Yeah. As you know, like a part of mine, and well, to be honest, we all love to pass on experiences and knowledge and teach. It's a big passion of mine. I enjoy, I don't necessarily enjoy an audience. I still kind of get nervous when I'm talking to a group of people, but I enjoy seeing people learning and taking on board. I want to give people education and information where they can learn from mistakes I've made, so they don't have to make those mistakes. Because if I can save somebody, just for argument's sake, I was talking to a woman in the UK. This is purely property based, right? Nothing about blockchain. And we have a thing called probate. I don't know what it's called in the US. It's where a person has passed away and the house is empty, right? Yeah. So,
Milky, I don't want to interrupt you, but you can fix that by having a trust. Go ahead.
Anyway, Chris, you're stamping all over my story. I'm telling the story.
All right. He does that. But go ahead.
But so she was looking at a property, and it was a probate property. It was vacant. The person had passed on, and she was talking to me, and I said, have you, because we do a thing called stamp duty in this country, where it's basically a tax on the land or something when you buy it. It's a couple of £1,000. It can go up to like £20,000-30,000 pounds, if not more, depending on the cost of the property. And she was just talking to me, and I said, well, why don't you just tell your solicitor or your lawyer to do probate relief because of the situation? And she said, I have no idea what that is. And I said, well, the rules are in this country, if it's under a hectare, or if you're not going to spend an X amount on doing the property up before you sell it, it's under a certain criteria, then you can write off all your stamp duty. And she went, oh, thanks very much. I didn't hear her from again for about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And she came back and she said, hey, Milky, I did what you said, and I've made a bit of a saving. I said, how much did you save? And she went, $22,000.
No, yeah.
Wow.
£22,000, right? And that was just an off chance of it, just because I've learned it and I told her, and now she tells everybody. But just that.
You save it, and imagine how many people she's told them they've saved. You kept wealth in people's family, man. I mean, if you really look at what you did, you probably changed many lives. You know, and you know what I mean. Like that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's called paying it forward, though, right? Somebody told me that information. I didn't just learn it myself. So
paying it forward, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's it. So, do you want to jump onto some of these? So one of my favorite ones was Wise Choice Money when he said this project gets better and better, and when you think it can't get any better, it does.
Yeah, it does.
It made Terry look like an owl, which I thought was hilarious. So.
Yeah,
but one of the things is, if I don't want to sound too salesy, because that's not me. I'm kind of like a facts and figures kind of guy. But if you're happy with what you can see now, some of the stuff that we've got planned with regards acquisitions of assets, I would say, I think that you're going to be really, really happy for what we've got lined up in the future. Again, it was just an idea that I touted to the other guys today, maybe. I think.
Was it today you dropped it? I think it was today you dropped it this morning.
Yeah. So.
My morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in communication with some other people that do crypto property, obviously, and I'm just talking to them, and I understand that they've got like a 5-year plan, and they want to kind of get out of it in 5 years. And if you can read between the lines, you can probably see where I'm going with that, because we've got a 20-year plan and we want to acquire assets. So it's going to be exciting for that kind of thing. I'm excited.
Yeah, we are all excited about this. You know, and I see a lot of comments like when launch. Well, you know, we're relatively waiting on the blockchains. There's a couple of blockchains. Obviously, you guys know we are excited about launching off of Vulcan. You know, and if Vulcan, if that team does what they're supposed to do, then we can do what we're supposed to do. But if they cannot, well, then we pivot, and that's what we do, because ultimately we are looking out for the community, and you know, we know that the communities, we know that you're not only looking for one blockchain as well. We're going to be a multi-chain project, and because there's so much opportunity out there, different communities, different opportunities, and but we're going to do which, as long as they do what they're supposed to do, we'll do what we need to do. So when launch, the ball's not in our court at this point. We're waiting on some chains to do their thing, right?
But you're ready though. You guys are ready to launch.
We are still working, and Milky alluded to this earlier. Was talking about this. We're still working on the back office stuff, the incorporation and getting prepared. So let's say all three. You know, we got a couple of chains, 3 or more chains that we want to launch from, that we're talking about. Let's say they're all ready tomorrow. Well, we're not ready. We still have to get. We can't legally, as you talked about earlier, Milky. We can't legally go buy a property now. I mean, we could. One of us could probably. Milky could probably go do it, but then he's got to it's because he's already licensed to do this. But as a Property Flex company, we've already taken the steps to become incorporated, documents signed, all these things, and that's what 10, 14 days to make that happen is what we're looking at. So to your question, Terry, we will be very soon. I mean, you know, a week, 2 weeks tops. You know, we're just waiting on the documentation essentially, and then
just to jump in there. Again, we want to hit the ground. Not necessarily, we don't want to hit the ground running. We want to hit the ground walking, because we want to prove that everybody that this is a solid project. We're not just going to throw up a DApp and it just looks like shit, and we're not going to throw just because people want it. I mean, with all due respect, we're going to take our time and we're going to do this properly. And I know people want to get involved, and I know people want to say, like, why don't you launch on Binance? And I've gone into detail why we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But all I'll say is, let us do this properly, because again, we're taking a very corporate approach to this. We're not just slapping some tokens out and throwing them on a DApp. Again,
Right.
no offense to any project at all, because everyone's got their own thing going on. This is going to be more of a corporate, real kind of, how do I say this? It's a company feel, right? So
This is bricks and mortar, and bricks and mortar. What is bricks and mortar? Bricks and mortar is what you're living in right now. I mean, the house you live in, the city you live in, the roads you drive on, the car that you drive, all that stuff that you use for life right now wasn't just thrown together. It was a very timely, strategic, well thought out, because they're thinking long term, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, I agree with you, Monkey. We want it to be like hit the road running, right? It's got to be do it right, do it once. And I love the corporate feel that you're mentioning, because I deal with so many clients that this is what they do. Big money is slow, big money decisions, when you're talking about multi-million-dollar deals, they don't happen, and they may the hands may be shook on the golf course, or at dinner or whatever. The decision's made. Yeah, let's do the deal. But once that decision is made, it takes time to get the money moved, and there's a reason for that. It's a lot of money, a lot of people, right?
The reality of it is within crypto, like I said, it's almost like the Wild West, where there's no rules, there's no regulations and stuff like that. Unfortunately for us, because we're buying real world assets, there is rules and there is regulations and there is legalities that we've got to comply with, and that stuff doesn't. And even then, that's not within our scope to control the timeframes. When we have a solicitor, a lawyer, or whatever the language is, saying that they'll do something for us, we're on their time frame, and we can't just say, oh, we're going to do it overnight because we feel like doing an all-nighter or staying up till 3:13 in the morning or something. We've got to do it on their time frames, right? It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, and it's okay. It's okay. Delays, whatever delays there are, whatever. I don't even like to consider them delays. Delay is such a negative word. I don't see it. I don't see delays as, oh my God, it's another delay. I see it as opportunity. This is an opportunity for me while they've taken a pause to do what they need to do to get it right. What can I do to make sure I'm ready for this?
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? So this is just an opportunity for us to get all our T's crossed and I's dotted. So it's an opportunity at the end of the day. But I'll let you get this question there, and give me a moment, guys. I got to take this phone call. Chris, I think you can knock out the comments. I think you can handle them. Milky doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to press buttons. He was struggling earlier, so.
Shut up.
You know what? Go answer your phone call, dude. I'm taking over now. Now we're doing it my way.
So answering Sky Eye's question, then do I see the vesting schedule as a hindrance? So the honest answer
he's
is
got more to that. He's got more to that, though. He's got that question, and then right below it, he's adding in there, or are you going to have a secondary coin we can buy NFTs with?
So the answer is no, we're not having any coins. But let me try and figure out what he's trying to say. Is do I see the vesting schedule as a hindrance? Well, yeah, because of course it is. We've gone from 5% to 2.5% to 0.25%, right? And I've got a relatively decent sized bag of Vulcan, and I can't access it, and it's that is frustrating. However, you're thinking on the kind of the micro levels, where we're thinking a little bit bigger, is we're going multi-chain with this. So if we launch on Vulcan first, then yes, there will be a portion of people that can't pull money out to start with, but we are obviously going to be marketing leading up to launch. We'll be riding the crest of the wave on Vulcan, launching and obviously promoting ourselves on that. So there's a chance, let's just say for argument's sake, Vulcan launches at $9 per vol. Traditionally, blockchain's 46x, I think the maths were on within a couple of weeks of launch, or a couple of months at launch at least. So let's just say you put in $100 and you 10x. Well, then you can go and buy 10 NFTs. I'm just saying, but it's only going to hinder the people that are in Vulcan, myself included, right? But we're kind of branching out. We want a big 10,000 Discord. We want to be talking to other communities as well that are not involved with Vulcan. We're talking to other chains, and obviously they've got their own communities. So yes, it's frustrating for us that we can't get access to our funds, but it's for the greater good. I still believe that the vesting schedule is the right thing to do. Does it affect us in the short term? Yeah, I guess, but we're trying to do things on a bigger scale. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating. However, I still believe that the vesting schedule on Vulcan is the right thing to do, because I think it would get drained immediately. So frustrating, but the correct thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with you on the vesting schedule, but I it's tough because I agree, I understand, and you got valid points. You and I are on the same page, but then I get input from other members in the community, and I'm like, you know what? They got a point too. So it's like, it's tough. It's tough, but I do think that I mean, he's on to something there, where I think that there is going to be an issue with capital, but at the same time, there's a lot of projects out there, and there's a lot of time between now and when Vulcan would launch and everything like that. I don't know, I'm liking more and more what Daniel's talking about. I think that's great. I'm looking for, my fundamentals on Bitcoin are just going through the roof. So I mean, there's that, and I'm a big fan of Drip, and I think that they're going in the right direction. So I see a lot of different things opening up, and hopefully, the need for Vulcan to launch earlier will be relieved by some of these other projects and other things that people may be in, things that I don't even know about, that can free up some capital for them for when Vulcan does launch.
Yeah, and remember that if you've got, let's talk about Vulcan specifically, but if you've got a bag, whatever it may be, Sky, I genuinely, obviously, it makes no difference, but if you've got a bag that's in there and it's vested, therefore you can't really get access to it apart from 0.25%, it means that your flex rewards are going to be higher because you've got more in there and you're compounding on that. And if there is that tremendous buy kind of thing for a new blockchain coming out, and if it does get marketed correctly, then let's just say, rather than thinking immediately, because we're not going to be able to buy a property within the first 2, 3, 4 months. I mean, that's the time frame. So you've got 2, 3, 4 months worth of vesting. 2, 3, 4 months worth of vesting, and you've got 2, 3, 4 months of the flex rewards for your bag specifically, and the power pool as well that comes down. So you might have more than you think you might, and you can still buy Property Flex NFTs and get those foundational ones before our first project. There is no rush. There is no pink sale for us. There is no, you've got to buy in 37 seconds. There's none of that.
Yeah.
Because it's just not the way that our company is. It's slow, deliberate, focused.
There it is. Man, I love it. Slow, deliberate, and focused. That's the way you build wealth, guys. That's how, right, Chris? That's how you do it. That's how you do it, man.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah, you're not gonna, I mean, I don't know how many times people have, there's so many people have quoted it in the history of mankind. And is it, you accumulate, you hold, compound interest, roll it over, reinvest it, that type of thing. You hold it. I mean, you'll become rich, and you won't even realize it. You'll be like, wow, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is kind of underlining what you just said. I like the way you actually framed it there, Milky. And of course, Chris comes in with wisdom, and everybody feels dumb. But before you decide, think, and before you think, focus. And this is why I like when you say, this is how I think right here, Milky. This is always in my head. This is how I approach things. And when you talk about laser focused, I always think about this right here, and since the inception of, hey, I want to do this property flex thing, and you reach out to us, and this is how I see how your brain works. Like, hold on, like we'll actually talk about some things, like you said, I think it was this morning or yesterday. Let me think back on that. Like, give me some time to think about this and chew this, and then you come back with just like damn, some great ideas, you know.
Oh,
So I appreciate that, but yeah, and it's slow and steady. So guys that want to get invested into this project, or invested, that this we're really looking at this as a truly long-term play for you guys and us. You know, we're building a company here. We're not building a meme token. We're not building a blockchain. We're building a project that can be on multiple blockchains. We're not going away. You know, this is going to be an amazing project. I'm excited about it, and I can tell that the community is as well. Super excited. Super excited.
I think Sky High says it best, and he's stacking BNB. And I think his question, what he was saying is, my bad. I'll bring it up for him. Says I'm stacking up BNB, hoping it goes up, then by Vulcan, and hope it shoots up, increasing purchase power. I just wondering if stables were a buy option.
I think what we've said is we will buy in the native token for whatever chain we're on. I think that's kind of the easiest way to do it. And therefore, if you're, let's just say, Property Flex, or you're not ready to buy a Property Flex NFT because of the vesting schedule or whatever, but you put a little bit of money into Vulcan and it 10x's, let's just say it goes from $9 to $90 in the first couple of weeks. Well, that $9 has now more or less bought you an NFT, because we're at $90 now. It's it's not a certain amount of vol, it's US dollar equivalent, so it will always be $100.
Yeah,
So if the price goes up, you're using less vol in order to do it, and you get as many as you can. I would say that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on day one of Vulcan launch, putting a little bit of money in there, riding the wave up, because the vesting schedule will protect it, in my opinion. And then I'm going to split it, and I'm going to put. I've got actually a whiteboard behind me, but it's blurred, so that's good, because that's all my investments that I'm putting it into. But 20% into Bitcoin, 5% into kind of ETH, that kind of stuff. But and 20% of that's going into Property Flex every single month as well. So I'm looking at acquiring as many as I can.
Nice.
For as long as the project is going.
Yep, Seven Seas has another question. What's up, Seven? He says, you talked about the first batch of NFTs will be special foundation ones. Is that NFT going to be able to be bought on more than one blockchain? So I guess he's talking about the first initial launch. Are we launching on multiple, I think is the question. Let's say the legacy or the NFT one that we come out with. I guess that's to say to be determined, right? We're going to see, we're waiting on these blockchains, right?
Yeah, I mean, my immediate gut instinct was, if we're launching on 3 blockchains, then they're 3 different, in essence, it's 3 different companies, right? The buying power is different on each one. So therefore, the people who buy on, let's just call it blockchain 1, they're foundational for that blockchain. Blockchain 2, they're foundational for that blockchain. They will be foundational for and if in 10 years another blockchain comes out, let's call it blockchain 10, then the people who buy on blockchain 10 for the first time, they will have foundational NFTs. But I mean, they will only be given the dollar amount to what's in the bank and what's in the assets of that chain. So it's all tied to specific chains. So my immediate answer is, yeah, they will get foundational ones per blockchain.
Yeah, per blockchain. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. So whatever your flavor is, because we plan on being on multiple chains, right? Obviously we want one chain to be the shining star on the hill, right? The shining city on the hill, however you want to call it. But it's still to be determined which one is that's going to be. I mean, there is a race, and it's not our race. It's they're racing to be that. I mean, and it's all, and again, it's all based on market conditions and bear market, bull market, all these things. I mean, there is this, at the end of the day, there are things, whether you're waiting on Vulcan, Prism, Kyoto, or whatever blockchain you're waiting on. At the end of the day, these developers, they're waiting on the market condition. They're watching the markets as well. I mean, they've got think tanks now. They have roundtable meetings going. Should we launch now, or should we wait? Let's look at what's going on with the SEC. I mean, all these things come into play. Of course, they want to bring their chain quickly, right, and swiftly, because they want to be first to market. But sometimes being the first to market could be the first to crash and burn. So I can respect the delays, as I hate to say the word delays, I see it again as opportunity. While they're working on their thing, we will work on our thing, and I think it's been benefiting us at least at least our project for the most, because we get to really think through, right, what the options are for. I think we see bigger and better opportunities with Property Flex during the delays. I think if Vulcan had launched, because that is the first chain we want to launch
Yep.
off of, right? If it was ready 30 days ago, I mean, we would be, Milky and I'd be probably, punching walls right now, because we'd be so freaking, we got to get this going, you know what I mean? Because even though the chain launched, life still we still have things going on in our lives. So I know that for me personally, I appreciate, I would say the time being taken, because it's allowing me to get things right, both off chain and on chain. So, without too much more rambling, just be patient, everyone. We are working on this as they are as well. So
I want to just chat about the Milky crypto one, BSC. Hopefully, that is what he said basically. I would say,
sorry.
I will again. I will never say never on BSC, and the reason why I have gone through this in detail, but I'll do it again really quickly. The reason why we're not going to do it on BSC is because our blockchain, our company and our project is built on rewards. Those rewards are generated from various different means. If we do it onto BSC, we don't have access to a node, we don't have access to any kind of way of generating rewards apart from price appreciation. Well, no, we don't. There's no way of generating rewards for them. So if we went onto BSC network, we would have to be really, really established, and everybody knows what the Property Flex brand is. And then we say, right, we're going over to BSC, and we've got a massive amount of investors there who are happy with just getting the rental returns, the property, whatever it is, the property generated profits back, but they would get no rewards whatsoever. So we would not launch early on the BSC network. We potentially could do in 2, 3, 5 years time, where Property Flex is renowned within the space and everybody wants a version on Binance, and they are not worried about the rewards. They just want the security and the brand that we can offer. And because we've proved concept on other blockchains, because they're not going to get as much back as they could do if they, let's say for argument's sake, went on to swapped BNB over to the Prism native coin and invested on Prism, and they would have more rewards back, or onto Vulcan. So that's the answer, and that's the reason why, is because we can't generate the rewards, because we have no access to any of the back end tools to do that. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And talking about like with Vulcan, for instance, with this particular blockchain, the NFTs are obviously, because it's a rebasing blockchain, you're going to get the rewards. Everybody understands rebasing, blockchain token level, whatever it is. We all come from the SafeFu era, right? It's the SafeFu. It seems so long ago, but it was just a year and a half. So we understand rebasing. It's in our head. It's embedded in our DNA now. We expect it.
Yeah.
We know what the potential of it is. Now, if we move to a different chain, let's say Prism, for instance, or Kyoto, or whatever, whatever chain, whatever other we're looking at other chains. I'll just use those because we've talked about those. We own nodes on the other chains as well. So, we even own some master nodes on some other chains. So, guys, when we're talking about other chains, we're talking about not, like, just as Milky's saying, we don't want to just bring it to Binance, because we're not going to be able to deliver on the rewards or the extra passive income instant, I would say, right? Because like you said, we don't own any Binance nodes, but the other chains we're talking to and hope to partner with, if things work out, then we own some master nodes and some nodes, which is basically we're right back where we're right back on the Vulcan, where we can do the kind of the same thing. It won't be exactly the same.
Nope.
But it'll be enough to go, you won't even notice. All right. You're still going to get some money coming in and some rewards coming in while you're waiting on that reward asset. So we have absolutely opened our minds and pivoted in a sense. And we are thinking about you guys because we know this is what's on your mind. What if this one doesn't happen? What are you going to do? If that doesn't happen, it's okay because we're already looking down the road. But we want this one to happen.
Absolutely, we do.
We want
Yeah.
them all to happen. We don't want it to say we're on one chain. We want, I mean, I want Vulcan to be a success. Obviously, I own a node, right? You know, I've KYC'd. You know, I've been in. Guys, I've been in. You guys know how long I've been in this community. You know, and I want this to happen. But if it doesn't, it's not going to be because we didn't make it happen. It's, you know, I understand the challenges that the team has, so we're going to let them do their thing, and we'll just wait for that word. Hey, we're going live. Mainnet's here, and then we'll be ready for it. So that's, I think, our commitment to you guys is, we're going to be ready for whichever chain we decide to launch on. That's what we're doing now. That's our commitment. And let's say, like as Milky said earlier, if the chains are ready now, it's still going to take 3 to 4 months for us to get that first property, that first project. And that's not because we're lazy. It's just, that's just the way it works. We're talking about real dirt here, right? There's a process to it. There's a process to it. Yeah. Scouting and all these things. And, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing words. I don't even know what I'm talking about because I'm not a real estate guy, but there's work, right? There's boots on the ground stuff that needs to happen, right, Milky? And that takes time. It takes
Of
time.
course, but that's obviously goes hand in glove with what we said when we launch on. Like, again, I mean, I've been a massive supporter of Vulcan. Again, I want nothing more than that to I mean, I've got a node, I've got a pretty decent sized bag. I really, really want that to do really, really well. So just in case people think that we're talking bad about it, absolutely not. That's our primary goal, is to get on there.
Yeah, 100%.
But what we do want to do is, because things take time, we want to launch, and we want to launch on a blockchain. We want to launch on Vulcan, and we want to be able to give NFT holders immediate returns back that are coming from the Flex, the Power Pool, things like that. So before we even buy a property, they've already been receiving rewards because we're able to generate those rewards. And that's why I say we're not going to do it on the BSC network, because there is absolutely no way of us doing that on that network. So again, until we're big enough to stand up there and say, well, this is what we've got on the BSC network, you're going to get profits from property. That's it. And people will invest because it's secure and they're fed up with rug pulls, but we're not in that position yet.
I agree. Here's a comment from Crypto Dev. What's up, bud? I appreciate the comments, man. And any comments, welcome. You know, I'll answer any questions to the best of my ability. And most of the time it will be my opinion because I don't have all the facts, all the data. I'm not privileged to all conversations, but I'll give you my take on it based on what I know. And he says, you guys lose smart investors the moment you mention building on Vulcan. By associating yourself with this shady chain, lets everyone know your judgment is weak and not long-term focused. Well, I mean, I appreciate the concern, but I just said, or Milky even said in other ways, and I think we said it kind of plainly, that Vulcan isn't the only chain we're launching off of by any means. This isn't the what we're saying is we would like to launch on Vulcan and other chains. Vulcan, just because of the tokenomics, is a way we can pay back or give to the NFT holders quickly because of the rebasing. So I mean, but I appreciate the comment. And you know, you say that we would be that our judgment is weak and not long-term focused. Oh no, brother, we're long-term focused. You have no idea. You know, you literally have 30 years, I would say at least 40 years of business experience on the panel or on the team, even on the panel around. Everybody up here is a business owner. So, I mean, this isn't the entire team. But you know, the other two team members I would say we're, you know, we know how to kill it and bring it home. So, and if I've been able to put food on my table for the last 20 years, running a business, and then I'm surrounding myself with like-minded gentlemen. I think we're going to be okay. But I appreciate the concern. I really do. But I know where you're coming from, because all the stuff that we talked about earlier is just a lot of drama going on. But that drama has nothing to do with what we're doing. If Vulcan launches, we will launch off of Vulcan, you know, and the other chains. And in the last comment I'll make about that is, at least this particular statement, is when you say that you guys lose smart investors the moment you mention launching or building on Vulcan. So smart investors. So you're saying that so smart investors don't launch on. I mean, I guess elaborate on what a smart investor is. I'd really like to to know what that means. I mean, is there a criteria? Because I like to consider myself an intelligent guy. You know, I've made mistakes. You know, I've lost money, but I've also made some money. So elaborate. What's a smart investor? I mean, this is a conversation I'd like to have with you, and then we can go from there. I mean, because I think you're kind of painting a picture with one broad stroke. It's not fair, you know. But again, we talked about other chains we've been launching off of. Vulcan would be one of them. If Vulcan makes it happen, we'll make it happen. And we've got other chains we're talking about launching off of. But again, I appreciate the comment. As always, man, we always appreciate anything you guys have to say.
And I think it's important to, obviously, we spoke earlier about being able to take criticism or being able to take alternate opinions as well. It's important that we don't say one thing and then just do the other when somebody does come up and say, we've got a challenge for you. And I accept that they might not be a Vulcan fan. Fine. You might not be whoever's associated with Vulcan. You might not get along with them or might not have a strong opinion on them. Fine. The fact that we are thinking long term is why we're going multi-chain, because we want to give investors alternatives. Because let's just say, for argument's sake, we launch on Prism Chain as well. Then in 2 or 3 years' time, something else might come out, and people are a fan of that new tokenomics or that new groundbreaking way that another blockchain is being launched. Then we give the people opportunity to launch on that one as well. So we are giving ourselves the ability to pivot, and we are thinking about this as a 20-year plan. As I said, we've got 2, 5, 8, and 10 to start with. Our goal remains the same. We know exactly where we want to be. The journey there will not be straight, and we will take that road as it comes. But we will not paint ourselves into a corner, and we will not only give ourselves one option, because that is silly and that would lose smart investors. The fact that we've spread it slightly wider and given ourselves more options before we even start, I think I would say maybe that says that we do know what we're talking about, and we will take the investor with us on this journey.
Yeah, I agree with you, Milky, 100%. And, you know, I absolutely back up what you're saying. Crypto Dev responded to my question. He says, well, smart investor, and that was actually pretty quick. It's like you copied and paste that. I know you didn't type that. You had it on the ready. It's all good. But a smart investor is someone who understands that rebases is not income. It's just a piece. It's just a pie being split into further pieces, and understands that the redistributed token is only added sell pressure. Of course, that's what it is. But I also understand that smart investors understand the risk. So if this is a smart investor, which is who we want all investors, smart, educated, non-educated, because the idea is we want to teach people that, look, this is crypto, right? It's extremely volatile. That's why we're giving you guys a war chest. We're giving you guys a safety net. And because of how crazy crypto can be, we're tying it to a real world asset. But I hear what you're saying. And I actually absolutely know what rebasing is. It's just a piece of the pie of a bigger, I get all that, which is why I claim, which is why I take profit, which is why at the end of the day, I'm not holding until I go to the moon. Ever since I've gotten into any rebase token, specifically me personally, I've always taken profit. I've always taken my initial out, my profit. So I like to consider myself a smart investor because, and regarding rebasing, not all, don't get me wrong, I've been in some projects where I've lost my ass that didn't rebase. Okay. So, but I hear what you're saying. You know, it makes sense. I mean, you are speaking some truth, and but that's just it. If people, let's say we do launch off of Vulcan, right? Vulcan hits the target. They launch mainnet, and we launch Property Flex off of Vulcan, and people that love Vulcan and actually understand that rebasing is not income. It's just a piece of a pie being split, but they still want to get into it. You know what? It's their choice. It's their choice. You know, it's a free market, right? But then let's say we launch on another chain, because we will, right? And they don't want to touch the rebases. They want to go into more of I don't know, a non-rebasing chain that we get into, let's say Prism Chain, for instance. You know, where there's nodes that are actually contributing to the rewards. You know, or actual, you know, from, you know, we won't get into the details, but let's just say that's a different type of mechanism, and you can get into that particular project. But point is that you'll have the choice. At the end of the day, it's your choice. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the comment. I mean, It makes sense. I do not disagree with you 100%.
I think you just take that with a pinch of salt, though, Kryptonian, because the next two comments that he makes are obviously very targeted to one specific.
Oh, I
person.
haven't seen him yet. Let's see.
Yeah, so you don't need to bring him up or anything. It's just
okay.
there is nothing that we can
Oh,
do
I see what
about
you're saying.
his. Yeah, you see that. So there's
Yeah,
nothing we
yeah.
can do about his personal opinion, his or her personal opinion.
Yeah,
All I'll say
yeah.
is we're here for Property Flex. Property Flex is not a single chain project. So if you have an issue with whoever runs anything, any chain that we're going to get involved in, if you still love the idea of Property Flex in general, why don't you just wait for another chain and invest on that one, and then you don't have to worry about potential people or anything else. That's why we're giving you the choice.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of
it's
the
up
day,
to
we're
you.
giving you the choice. Yeah. But I hear, I don't need to bring up the other comments. You guys can read them, and I'm not going to ban you, block you. That's not what I do. You're free to say whatever you want, bud. Crypto dev. But at the end of the day, when it comes to, everyone's opinions, and there may be some facts out there that I haven't seen. Most of it's conjecture to me. I've had this discussion with many people. But to me, at the end of the day, I'm not going to focus on, I guess, what a few people say. What I'm looking for is what's going to benefit the community. And this is why Milky's talking about, we've opened up the gates here. We've opened up our minds. We're going to give options. You can invest. We're going to have different, if we are on we are going to be multi-chain. So you're going to have different options. But with that being said, it is your choice. And those of you that want to, that maybe have that opinion, why launch on Vulcan? Because I like the rebasing aspect of it. I made some money with Seifu, rebasing. I mean, to me, I made money. I like it. And I also like how at the end of the day, you have the ability. There's a couple of things: flex pool, power pool, claiming all these things. The rebasing with Vulcan, and then they've got the vesting, which I like. You said it earlier, Milky, that I think I agree with you. It's going to protect. I think it's going to keep the chain going a lot longer than otherwise if there was no vesting. I think people would be dumping and all these things. So, but anyways, I would just say that I hear what you're saying, Crypto Dev. And I don't want to get in a debate with you or anything like that. Of course not. But just understand that we do have choices. We have options, and we are certainly, we hear you, as I can say. We hear you. We're taking note, and it's not just you. We've heard the community at the end of the day. So, but we are not. So just to be very clear, we are not a project specifically for one blockchain. We are PropertyFlex.io, and our objective is to be multi-chain. All right. One blockchain is not going to make or break us at the end of the day. We hope that multiple chains see us and they want Property Flex because they see of what we're bringing. They see the potential. They see the proof of concept, and that's the hope, right? I would say that's the hope, right, Milky? That these chains see the proof of concept. In fact, other communities see what we're doing, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you guys come to this chain?" And there's a lot of chains I'm looking at, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, Crypto Dev, I really like I said, I can take certain comments and everything, and I will debate them with you. But obviously, you've got a personal opinion, and it's not really worth that. This is one thing I've said. For me, I'm not interested in the high school drama. I've got to practice what I preach, right? I'm not interested in the high school drama. You're entitled to your opinion. I've responded, and so is Kryptonian, who's obviously half of the team. So we've said what we're going to say on that matter, and we're not going to mention anything else. So you can make as many accusations and anything in the comments as you wish. I'm not going to waste any more time debating it because that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. We've given our response.
Yeah, I agree, and I stand with you, Milky, on that. So, but thank you, Crypto Dev. And I was expecting NR to be here, but I know he hasn't made it yet. I'm waiting on some feedback if he's going to be able to join us or not. He's probably putting the kiddos to bed. As you guys know, he's got some young ones there, and it is the 3rd, and tomorrow's the 4th. So it may be he may be tied up doing other things. Hopefully he's not popping fireworks.
We don't really celebrate it in this country.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because because I know why you don't celebrate. You guys are sore losers, So if you notice, Chris Cruz took the flag off. He didn't want to offend you. There it is.
They're just missing all.
Yeah,
our
let me tell it. Yeah, I didn't
Chris.
want to offend anybody.
So,
So
how does this make you feel, Milky, knowing that over there?
See you later, Terry.
I'll see you, Terry. Thanks for joining us, buddy. But 4th of July, yeah, tomorrow's the 4th. We're going to be celebrating that tomorrow. I'm excited. I finally get to. Banks are closed. Federal buildings are closed. The tax collectors are closed. So it's celebrate. It's one less day I got to pay taxes, right? Well, at least they're collecting taxes. But no, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Get to eat with the family. Spend the day just doing nothing. I'll probably be catching some lives. I'm sure Prado will be on live. Probably in about 3 hours. You know how he is, and
Yeah.
I'll catch him. But
It's always funny when I look at the Americans and you're obviously celebrating independence and stuff like that, because your country is such a baby. Like, it's so new. I mean, I think I've got stuff at the fridge that's older than your country. It's just crazy sometimes, but I'm sure you'll all have a great
I got
time.
some bourbon that's older than this.
bourbon. I need to get me some more bourbon. I'm
Yeah.
out.
You need
Well,
to.
like I said, we're going to get a nice bottle anyway, Kryptonian, for when we've got the company up and running. I'll come over and I'll see you guys. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Bourbon.
I have no I would say I have no desire, and I think I was telling you, Chris, to go to the UK. But other than to meet my buddies, Milky.
No, you know what we
Still.
do? Let's go do that Scotland thing, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
500-mile thing.
you've been to Scotland, Milky? I know you have, of course. It's like it's probably your backyard.
Well, you
right?
might not be able to tell us.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was up there on a nuclear submarine, so yeah, it was interesting.
Oh God, torpedoes and stuff. Here we go, man. The Brits happen to, anytime they're anywhere the military is involved. That's just the history of the UK, right? They talk about us, colonizing the world, but these guys, I'm just joking. That's
Yeah.
a joke, bud. Don't get mad. I'm just Winston Churchill. Remember Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I am looking forward to going to the UK, and it's one thing to go and do some sightseeing, right? Like you said, Big Ben, and what was it you told me to go look at there, Chris? You said Big Ben. You've been to a couple places.
Tower
right?
London.
Tower London, yeah.
Tower
Okay,
London.
those absolutely. But to go hang out with a buddy, you know what I mean? That's gonna be cool because you can actually show me some places that I wouldn't see otherwise. It's not on a freaking pamphlet, right? So, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
before-
we got Roy Kelly. Well, of course, your name's Roy, right? Wasn't there a movie? What's that guy's name? Rob Roy. You know what I'm talking about? Liam Neeson.
Oh, yeah.
That's an American thing. Braveheart. Anyways, William Wallace. But what's up, Rob? So you're in Scotland. So that's cool, man. I definitely want to go to Scotland.
Yeah,
You know,
what do they call that? What we just read last night, the NC 500 or what?
Yeah, NC 500.
Yeah,
We-
pretty awesome.
You were talking about Inverness earlier, Inverness Castle and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and you pronounced it weird, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I was like, right, yeah.
need to put like Google Translate on.
us Hilljacks, we just say it. We don't know what it means. And now
It was
it's-
funny because you said, "Did I say that right?" And then Kryptonian went, "Yes," and I was
Yeah.
like, "No, you didn't."
Oh, wow, yeah, I thought he did, but you have such a thick accent. I can't understand half the things you say. Even when you're writing, I hear an accent. It's weird. How do you manage to write English and it sounds English like the King's English? That's weird. I'll post the messages, guys. It's weird. No, but I definitely want to go to the UK.
I didn't think me typing a message to you saying "Don't be a douche" actually sounded English.
It's how you say it, bro. I hear you saying it. It's funny because wow, it's like was that a compliment? Just because it sounds, I don't know, your accent is just funny to me. I was gonna go back to the Scotland thing. I got a buddy, he's from Scotland. I got a couple of buddies from Scotland, and one of them just thinks that, I think I told you guys before, he says they invented everything. Everything was invented by the Scots. The roads, and I'm sure you've heard that. They invented everything. Roy, is that true? Did you guys invent everything? He literally sent me something from an encyclopedia. Guys, what an encyclopedia is, before there was the internet, there was actually these books that actually had printed words in it. But he sent me this article of everything they invented from the 10th century or 12th century, whatever it was, 15th century. And I was just like, God dang, if that's true, we owe you guys a lot, everything. But so he's very proud of being from Scotland, right? So
Yeah, it'll be cool to do to see you guys in Scotland, to do a kind of a Scotch whiskey tour and stuff like that as well alongside it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'd like to see some. Well, I'd like to see some nice, beautiful scenery and all that kind of stuff, and the locals and everything. And then I'd like to be pretty much blurred out, batshit drunk.
You can see beautiful scenery, but you won't see beautiful locals in Scotland. That's for sure.
Roy, I don't know. I think I hear something happening over in Scotland right now as we speak.
That's right. You said that out in front of everybody. That's just jacked up. Dude.
Well, he's been talking to me in our Discord as well. Just been a couple of chats while we've been on. So, yeah. And you take the piss out of each other until somebody punches you in the face, and then you stop. That's kind of where we learn how the line is. So just keep on going.
Oh, check it out.
Here's Roy.
So he says, I'm actually English, but live in Scotland. But yes,
Yeah.
everything was invented by the Scots.
The traitor.
I'm not complaining. He actually showed me some, I would say, proof, and I went back and, inspect what you expect. I'm like, God dang, you guys actually invented a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. Like, they may probably, it wasn't perfected in Scotland, but they came out with the first, it's like you say, invented the car, bro. You invented the, like Henry Ford Model T, and then my point is that pretty smart guys there. But I will say this, the Scottish guys that I work with, man, they are cheap. God dang, they're cheap, man. Like straight up. Like, I don't how is it that I've always got to buy you a drink and you make more money than I, bro? What's up with that? It's like they find a way, man, to negotiate everything.
We always say about the Scottish people, they've got really deep pockets but really short arms. So
that's a good one, man. That's a good one.
I don't want, but I shouldn't laugh out loud that loud, should I?
He said,
It's completely inappropriate.
That's actually pretty funny. I'm going to use that one. I'll probably get punched in the face for that. But
well, if they got small arms, you can just duck.
Well, I don't know. The one of the Scottish guys that I know, he's actually is an extremely intelligent guy. I've learned a lot from him over the years. I would consider him a mentor in a sense when it comes to like finances, or at least financial running a business. He's a CFO, okay, of a very, 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 very large oil and gas company. So, anyway, so he's like 6'4", 6'5". To me, he's a giant. I'm not a tall guy, and so he's always cracking on me about my height or whatever. But he does have short arms, which is funny as hell, man, because he's like, you got a pretty long torso there, buddy. It's like a T-Rex. I call him T-Rex, and he got pretty mad.
Nice.
So. Anyways,
what's that pink or purple dinosaur? That Barney, was it?
Yeah, Barney. Yeah, even bringing a little
Similar
T-Rex.
thing.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, so guys, we've been going at this for 2.5 hours. Milky, you were supposed to be here for like 15 minutes, man.
I said 30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's right. But as always, you killed it, man. And I appreciate you doing that, because people got questions, and
Yep.
and you always kill it when you bring it home, man. And you get me more excited about the project, and I'm in the and I'm part of the team, So, and it's always an honor to get time to speak with you. Yeah, we get to talk in Discord and all that, but to talk like this, it
We
helps.
very rarely get these, yeah.
Yeah. And people are excited about it. Moki here, man, he's absolutely excited. We are as well, Moki, 100%, man. We cannot wait.
Right.
It's going to be fun, and it's going to be. I'm not going to say it's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be a nice steady ride, to passive income, and that's what the community needs.
I think the biggest compliment that we've got really recently is that we know that other projects are looking, especially like Dan's Worldwide Token and stuff like that, they're looking at buying NFTs as part of their business model.
That's
a massive compliment. So
that is a massive compliment. I had a really good conversation with him. Thanks, Biz, for throwing that link out there, buddy. But I had a really good conversation with him today with Prado. I just called him up. He picked up, because I'm on the outside looking in. I see all this stuff happening, and I'm just like, bro, what's going on, man? And I'm gonna tell you about this guy. I'm not surprised, but I'm impressed. He's taking the high road, man, 100%.
yeah,
He's like, man, he goes, I'm not even gonna worry about the drama, man. He goes, at the end of the day, I want to build an amazing project. I want to bring it to the community, and I hope people know that, and I want to do great things, and I appreciate any support I get. And I was like, nah, you got my support, buddy. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I was like, you supported everybody in this community, man.
Yeah.
He's gone out there and supported everybody. And in spite of some things that have happened, you know, and things that maybe some shenanigans they've been involved in. So I think if anything, he deserves the respect and the dignity of anybody launching a project that I think Daniel wants to do the right thing. I'm excited about the WWT. And I'm going to be looking forward to right before he launches, because I still believe it's going to change a little bit. He's going to come up with more ideas or whatever, and because it's evolving as we are, right? As it's changed, you know. So I get it. So nothing's ever finalized, and you know, it's never finalized until the ink is dry. And I think things, you know, that he's still writing things. I'll be looking forward to it. You know, looking forward to what he's going to do.
I mean, again, people always provide feedback and stuff. I think Dan is so passionate about it, and he's so keen to make something work. And obviously, from what he's put together, I'm impressed. And I've said that to him when we finally connected recently through Discord and stuff. So we've had a little brief chat. I am anticipating that his project will do really well. If I was to give him one little bit of feedback, just because I would just say, just calm down a second, because he when he's on lives, because he's on live all the time, he makes decisions on the fly, and he'll change things all over the place. And sometimes as an investor or a potential investor, I'm finding it difficult to kind of keep up with what's going on. Yeah. I know he understands it, but for me, it's if anybody else is rewriting that white paper or that light paper, I feel sorry for him, because it must change on like a minute by minute schedule. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're actually, you know what? That's actually a very good point, because I haven't been able to catch every one of his lives. I'll catch one every other third one or whatever. And I'm like, wait, well, you said you were doing something on Tuesday, but now on Thursday you're doing something different. So I'm like, I get it, because you're right. He's making great changes, and he's getting a lot of good feedback from the community and those. But I agree with you. I would hate to be the guy writing the light paper, right? But that's why I'm waiting for the final one. Yeah. There will be a final one. It'll be on paper on purpose. Mm-hmm. The ink will dry, and that's the one I'm sure it's going to be the best for everyone, right? And it's going to be a great option for investors. I mean, I know, Chris, we've spoken briefly about it, but I think we did anyway, or maybe I've just caught it on one of your lives. But you said you was very excited about the rewards and obviously the Bitcoin and things. Yeah, Bitcoin is what caught my attention.
Well, I mean, the way I see it is that, you know, I'm going to support him no matter what. So you don't take any of my advice. Don't take. You know, this is not financial advice. This is me personally, what I'm going to do. So you do what you got to do. But I'm going to support him. I'm going to buy the maximum that I possibly can at the very beginning. I don't care about price or anything. And the way I look at it is that this will be a store of value for me, where I have the option of retaining other assets. So
that's exactly how I see it, Chris. Yeah. Exactly how I see it. And
that's what I've said recently. I've got it written down on the whiteboard there. Some of my, when I do manage to get some of my flex rewards and things, I've got a monthly budget. So I'm lucky. I'm really, really fortunate that I've got a full node. Obviously, I know that people couldn't get hold of them, and I managed to get one. You've got the power pool and the flex just off the Vulcan chain alone. So I've broken it down into exactly what I'm going to invest in, and it's things that are redistributing income. So Property Flex is obviously something I'm going to be investing in, because I believe in it, and I stand here and say I'm going to invest in it myself. Gods of Gaming, because they've got the NFTs that do and I know that you're keen on that one as well, because they redistribute profits from that platform back to the NFT holders and the worldwide token. And that's got again, I've maybe missed one or two, but I don't quite know exactly what all the options are at the minute.
One of the other ones that I like a lot is Legendary Club.
So I've got some. I forgot about them. I've got some of them NFTs as well. So that's based purely around Vulcan, isn't it? So, but I also like the way that, remember when I said right at the very start there was projects had gone like some rough and tumble to start with.
Yeah.
I love the fact that these tokens are starting to come together now. So I did read something earlier that there might be some kind of partnership between
Prisma.
I forget what Matt, the guy that was on your live. Prisma, yeah.
yeah,
Prisma and the one token.
The one token, and the one token has now got 1, 2, and 3 token. And I did read an announcement from your map earlier that they're looking at doing a collaboration between the Legendary Club and the one token team as well. So I love the fact that people are coming together and doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're taking there's the collaboration, and I think the space in general is big enough for collaboration. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? If I have a great idea and you have a great idea, and if we can come together and make it a better idea, I mean that's innovation at the end of the day, you know, and that's what gets people excited, you know. And now you've got a community and communities that can benefit from that, you know. Yeah, I agree with you, Milky. It's good to see that, you know, and think about that. That's happening in spite of the high school bull crap that's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Communities are saying whatever.
Well-
we're moving. We're pressing forward. You know.
Well, these guys aren't these projects aren't collaborating to pat each other on the back. You
No.
know, they're bringing
Right.
benefits to the holders that they have in their individual communities. So they're bringing a benefit there. Like when Daniel talks about investing in Property Flex, it's like, okay, I'm going to own as much as I can on Property Flex, and then I'm going to own the Worldwide Token, and then here I am sitting here. You guys are all doing all the work, and I'm reaping the benefits between these two projects. And then you go to other projects, and you're like, okay, well, this project's going to have this project, and it's like, but they're not like, you know, oh, we're doing a collaboration where we're just going to be like, we support you. And it's like, no, you know, that's great. That's awesome. You need support, but we're going to support you. And here's the reward for supporting you. We're going to give back to our communities. So,
Yeah, I was talking to DP about that earlier today. That he's literally giving back to the community.
Mhm.
So when he starts talking about, like, I think that when I asked him about how are you giving away a Bitcoin, bro? Like, come on, what are you buying a Bitcoin? He goes, well, out of the taxes that we make from Worldwide Token, you know, $30,000, if that's what the cost of a Bitcoin is, I'm buying a Bitcoin with it, and we're giving it back. You know, there's some work involved. You got to go claim your percentage
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, who else is doing that? Who else is doing that? Those that usually take the taxes usually take the taxes, you know. And I'll give you a rebase, you know. But I'll give you some taxes. That's actually pretty cool, man. To me, he's really trying to pay it forward. I hope the community sees that as what he's trying to do with it, and they catch on, and other projects see that. I mean, imagine if all projects started knowing that, you know, taking whatever tax structures they get and giving it back to the community, and not just giving it away. He's making it. You can't. I mean, you got to go and claim it. You know, there's a process to it.
Yep.
And at the and it should be that way. You know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, just like what we talked about, Milky, what you did, you know, with the rewards and stuff, we're going to be, I mean, it's not just going to be like easily. You got to go out, you got to work for it a little bit. There's some effort involved in that. And anything worth doing wild is worth doing. It's going to be some elbow grease. It's going to take some effort. You know, we already know human nature. If I just give you stuff, do you really appreciate it? Do you really value it? You know,
I think if our parents and the stuff could listen to us now and say the idea of hard work is going clicking a button when they grafted their asses off in factories and whatever it may have been, or in the military or whatever. Today's generation is I've got to press a button.
yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
crazy.
There's
Mhm.
a button. I saw a comment here. Press the button already. I think it was from Oki. We'd love to press the button, man. Of course, but no, you're right. It's, you know, my dad would used to tell me all the time, and when I would ask him for stuff, like, hey, you know, I want this. You know, I was in a big Nintendo guide. I want to go get this game, and he would tell me, like, well, I got to save for it. You know,
Yeah.
You can't just go buy it. No, and I got to save for it, and you got to earn it. Tell me why you need this. Well, I want it. I want this game. Well, he would say, sell it to me. Tell me why you need this. Why this is going to change your life. You know, I used to hate you to tell me that crap. So I had to come up with some story, you know, how to sell it to him. I was never successful. I was a horrible salesman, but, you know, as a kid, but I, as an adult now, I'm like, wow, he taught me something very valuable.
So
that-
you never managed to get Duck Hunt on the Nintendo.
Oh, I got it. Oh, let's just say the first, my dad blessed me so much, and I love him for this. he got me the very first Nintendo system that came out. It was the full entertainment. It was called the Nintendo Entertainment System, right? Obviously, but it was it had the gun for Duck Hunt. So it had Duck Hunt, Mario Brothers, Mario World, whatever it was, Super Mario Brothers, and then it had this Robbie the Robot little I guess I would say a toy, but as a part of it, where if you go back and Google YouTube this thing, you'll see it's little robot, and you're playing against the robot. It was kind of the first, kind of like I would say a droid you're playing against. But I remember this whole setup. I still remember opening it and taking it off the box and the styrofoam. It's funny the things that you remember.
Yeah.
But my point is, my dad got me that, and ever since he got me that, I mean, I've been hooked on video games. Obviously, not like Chris, where I still play them as an adult man, but I remember them. I'm just joking, Chris.
Yeah, I'll play any video game. Yeah, I mean, okay.
But Duck Hunt, man. But I love guns, right? Duck Hunt started it all. My dad bought me Duck Hunt. I had BB guns. I had pellet guns. I had my first. He got me my first 22. I mean, at the end of the day, it all started with Duck Hunt. To your question, I saw a comment from. We're gonna wrap up, guys. It's getting pretty late. I know Milky's tired, but it says if you want to. I like what Sky High says. He says if you can't shake the haters, then prove them wrong. And again, that reminds me of Ogmandino. I think it's Ogmandino or Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich. This is one of his quotes. If you haven't read his book, listen to his audiobooks. It's great. It's great information for the brain. And the heart. It says, tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it. So another way of thinking about it is you can talk all day long about what we're going to do, but really belief is the enemy of knowing. So I can tell you what I'm going to do, but until I show it to you and the proof of concept, then it's the truth. And that's what we're trying to do with our project and those in the community. The World tokens, the One Token, Prisma, I mean, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to we're just sick and tired of being sick and tired as a community.
Yeah.
We want to win. We deserve a W, a big ass freaking W, and we're throwing everything at the wall. One of us is going to hit it. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I hope it's properly flexed at the end of the day, I believe it will be. Right. I know it will be. Biz is in the comments. Thanks so much, Biz. But Gods of Gaming, I'm looking forward to that. Fowler, what's up, buddy? I know you're probably already went to bed. It's late. But thanks for throwing up that website there, Biz. And then we've got, of course, the Legendary Club. And Legendary Club, that's Jamap, right? That's his
Yeah, it started off initially. It was Sean Clark, and he was kind of marketing the Legendary Seifu Club, and then it was Kiwi, and then some other people in there, and then they just changed hands. Kiwi went off and did his own thing, and Yamap picked up the Legendary Club. Obviously, they rebranded it to the Legendary Club after Seifu changed its name to Vulcan. But yeah, I picked up a couple of those NFTs. I'm happy with them. I can't wait. Yamap is a force when it comes to kind of putting content out there and the way he's thinking about things as well. So again, I think
he's a hard worker, man. That dude's busy as hell.
Yeah.
And I can see why he and Daniel are working together, and Daniel's like always freaking mind going a million miles an hour. Yamap, it seems to be in the same I think cut from the same cloth. So I think they make a good team. I'm excited to see what they do with this. So yep, 100%. Sky High says WWT is going to diversify the community's wallets through gift of different cryptos, and that's what we talked about. Bitcoin and Daniel talked about other. I think today he said it. I think I heard him today or yesterday. He's working on other coins that he's going to be giving out. Right? I'll let him. I don't remember which ones he said. I'm sure he'll bring them up. But diversification is the smartest move, or is the smart move. And you're absolutely right, Sky. It's all about diversification. He's just not giving you within World token. He's just not giving you just the WWT token. He's giving you other things, and you can do with whatever you want with it. There's no staking. There's no vesting. Cash out. Do what you want. And the rest. At the end of the day, the rest is up to you, right? So I appreciate what he's doing with that.
I just add one thing to what Sky Eye says is that, and you're right, diversification, yeah, but accumulation.
Yep.
So you diversify and accumulate.
That's right, accumulate. And I only really began to appreciate accumulate soon after I met Chris Cruz, because we go backstage and I'm like, you son of a. Okay, I should have known. So, no, it's good stuff, man. It's really good stuff. I mean, because you just don't think that we're not taught that. We're
Right.
not taught that. You know, we're taught I got to get, and then sell. It's patience, man. It's all about patience, right? But understanding why patience is key, I think, and that comes with education, and it comes with definitely, I come from the school of hard knocks, unfortunately, you know, I learned the hard way. I got a lot of bruises on my head, but the more I've surrounded myself with like-minded gentlemen and smart investors, I have less knocks on the head, and I'm doing much better. I'm in a much better place. I would say as an investor in crypto, I am today than I was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So I was just a Bitcoin guy. Now I got into DeFi, SafeMoon, SafeMoon, all the way up to that and everything else. I've learned a lot, and I have the community to thank for that, right? The community to thank for that. But at the end of the day, NR is a no-show. He's a no-show, man. He's
Yeah.
gonna show up.
Man.
I know.
He's building an empire, bro.
No, he said he was going to be here, and of course he messaged us and said he'd be a little late. But if he's not here, it's because something, it's definitely dealing with some stuff. He's taking care of business, but missed him, man. I haven't seen him in a bit. We talk often via text, but I was hoping to see him before the 4th, because I know he was going to be drinking some whiskey, and that would have been a fun time, But with that being said, guys, we've been going at this for 2.5 hours. Milky, again, I appreciate you being here. I think we covered a lot regarding Property Flex. I hope we laid out kind of the plan, without laying out the plan, because we got to, we can't reveal everything, but I hope the community understands that we do have a plan. We've got options, and it's happening whether you like it or not. But any last words for Property Flex, or just for the community in general before we wrap this thing up?
No, I would just say we hope everything makes sense. Obviously, if you've got questions, we've got a Discord there. I'd like the Discord to be slightly more active. We're going to be doing a bit more marketing around my LinkedIn profiles and stuff. So hopefully we'll start seeing, when I've got something to show for it, we'll start seeing Discord numbers go up as well. But no, this is only the beginning, and what we're doing at the minute will probably be nothing like what the company looks like in 20 years. So again, we will continue to evolve, we will continue to grow, we will make mistakes, we will get wins, but it's a long-term plan, and if we keep focused on the long term, then we're going to succeed, and that's the way we're going to be.
It is. We are focused like a laser beam, you hit the nail on the head. We're focused. We are focused. We are moving forward. Take it or leave it, What about you, Chris? I know you jumped in kind of late, man. I appreciate you. I know you got some stuff going on. You're moving some things around, and I didn't expect to see you to the end of the week, man, or Sunday at least.
I saw you and Milky on here, and I was like, you know what, she's with her buds, so
I got you. Yeah, you're like,
so
hey, now you're hanging out with your buds. So hey,
yeah. So we got another couple days, so we'll be all right. I just want to tell everybody, I hope you guys enjoy your 4th, and I just want you to really, really, because a place where I'm at right now, spend time with family as much as you possibly can. But the time is short, and enjoy every second of it.
Every second of it, man. 100%. Yeah, guys, I agree with you. Spend time with family. I like to throw out a lot of quotes. I occasionally like to say some certain things and wow people with my ignorance of the English language, as Milky would say. No, I'm just joking. But guys, as always, inspect what you expect. Do right, and fear no man. I mean, I can go on. No one's here. No one's gonna save you. You must be your own hero. But the biggest one that I love, my biggest motivational, thought that I keep in my head is the one that I shared today in the Discord from Winston Churchill. Milky, if you remember that one, and I'm just gonna pull it up real quick. I know I gave you crap about Winston Churchill because you look like him, but I'm just joking. Because you're British. But I'm gonna post it quickly here. Let me post this real quick. bam, copy this. I'm going to paste this in the comments, and then we'll end it with that. And I hope everybody can really appreciate this quote I'm going to bring up here, because to me, I think in the last probably few weeks with everything going on in my life, I am certainly appreciating this quote. And it says, we make a living. This is Winston Churchill, by the way. I love this guy. He says, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And I think everybody on this panel, everybody in this community, we want to pay it forward at the end of the day. Yeah, we want to make money, but man, I've seen a lot of support come out for those in the community in the last few days that really needed it. So remember that, everybody. Pay it forward, as Milky said it earlier today. It is about paying it forward. That's what it's all about. Spend time with family, as Chris says. And at the end of the day, we always want to do right and fear no man. Inspect what you expect. And we'll see you guys on the blockchain.